What a piece of junk!
This is the Shattered Order Podcast.
Go switch off!
If you're looking for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, information, and theory crafting, you've found the podcast you're looking for. With your hosts, GoodNightPunk and WinKILLERinc.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 144th episode of the Shattered Order Podcast. I'm your host, GoodNightPunk, and with me, as always, is my good friend Wink. What's going on, Wink?
How is it going? There is just so much to discuss this week, but not only is there a lot to discuss, we have a guest. Micro, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me. I like being here.
Well, thanks for joining. This should be a good time. There's so much to discuss. One thing, we did a survey last week regarding the show. There were some big takeaways. One of the biggest takeaways we had was people wanted more guests. So we figure, what the hell, why not go ahead and have a guest this week? So thanks for joining.
Yeah.
We will, of course, put the link to your channel in the show notes,
Cool.
but try to get you some more subscribers. But tell everybody what you do over there on your channel.
All right, so let me give this fuel on Darth Microtransaction. To be honest, man, I'm just making content, and whatever it is that I feel like doing, I'll just be like, I have inspiration for a video, and I'll pump it out. I don't have any game plan. I haven't been doing any game plan. I'm trying to fill a void where I see no content. So if there's no guides for certain types of videos, I'm going to put those out. If people aren't doing videos for Wells or aren't doing videos for certain new players, or et cetera, I'm trying to fill a void where I don't see content.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
Sounds like a pretty good plan.
And you're running low on energy tonight, right? Because you had a little
bit. Last night, the Malak event came out, and I knew I got to live stream this, right? So I did the Malak event. Like 700, 800 people show up and were watching. It was crazy. It was really insane. I spent a good 4.5 hours. Stayed up till it was like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something, just grinding. I mean, light side only, just over and over and over and over again. And I didn't get it. 4.5 hours. I didn't get it during that stream. I did get it this morning, but I didn't get it last night.
Man.
That is a lot of time to not get it.
We've done streams like that before with I think it was who was it? Chewbacca, where you just slam your head against the wall forever and then you like give up, but it's like, yeah, those streams, especially if you go 4.5 hours, can just start getting like blood's running down your face, you're sweating.
I feel
It
bad
gets
because
crazy.
people had donated for it is what happened, because there's no way I was going to make it, but people threw in like it was like $80, ended up being like $120. So I'm like, okay, fine, I should have the requirements for it. And I told them I'm going to do it tonight, it doesn't matter. But I got to 4.5 hours and I was literally falling asleep in my chair, so we postponed it into this morning.
Nice.
Makes sense. Good news is you got it, so there's that.
Got it.
After that long, if you didn't, you'd just keep banging the head against the wall. Well, very cool, very cool. Well, we'll hopefully you've seen like some huge growth. You've been going for what, a month now?
Yeah, just about. Yeah, probably a couple days over. The
And
growth's
you
been a
just-
little bit insane.
You just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, right?
Actually, as of as of about 2 minutes ago, I just hit 2,000. So the channel's been growing at about
Dang.
34 to 35% growth. So every 2.5, 3 days, I'm doubling in size is what I'm seeing. Now, I think
That's
some of
pretty
that,
good.
I'm going to see diminishing returns, I'm sure, is when you start new, like, you know, everyone who's in the community is going to start subbing you, and I'm sure it's going to start plateauing and evening out. But yeah, right now it's going a little crazy.
Hey, that's what happens when you put out good stuff. So it's good to see.
No
good
kidding.
to see.
Heck yeah. Well, before we really start diving into things, there's been so much going on this week. There's a lot of things to discuss, but I have a very important question, Dan. And I mean, this is very important.
Oh, I'm ready.
What are you drinking, sir?
Oh, we're doing that again. Well, I got this is called Austin East Cider's Original Dry Cider, and it is freaking delicious. It looks like, the can looks like it looks like one of those weird cans from like a TV show that looks so generic.
It does.
I love it.
A
I love
crop
it.
beer.
It's awesome. Yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
How about you, Wink? What are you drinking?
I am drinking Anderson Valley Boont Amber Ale. This is a pretty delicious amber. I'm an amber fan for the most part, but yeah, this one's pretty on point.
Very nice. Very nice. How about you,
Micro?
Micro? What are you drinking over there?
I am I'm chugging down something a little bit heavier than you guys. This is purified drinking water, 16.9 fluid ounces. So I'm thinking
That's
that
dangerous stuff, man.
it should,
You should
help
slow down on
grind
that.
better.
Yeah.
Muscle juice.
All right. That'll
Very
work. That'll
nice.
work.
Cool.
So I got a question for you guys.
Awesome.
Have you guys been following the Star Wars celebration this week? Or
Not at
this
all.
weekend?
To some
Oh,
degree.
man.
To some degree. Not as much as I wish I were. Why don't you fill us in on what's been going on?
Please do.
Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff going on. The first thing I want to mention, I was scrolling through my Twitter feed today, right? And Twitter's been getting really crazy with like live videos and stuff like that on it lately. And I was scrolling down, and since I follow the Star Wars Twitter, I saw a live video that was playing on their Twitter page. So I clicked on it, and I realized really quickly that it was the Episode 9 panel. So they had all the cast of Episode 9 up there, including the new character that they're bringing in, everything. And so I sat and watched it for a little while, and then not expecting anything. And then at the very end, they dropped the new teaser trailer for the new movie.
Woo!
So
I did see
Yeah,
that.
they did.
if you have not seen this trailer, my friends, you are in for a treat. I'm not going to tell you the name of the movie because I want you, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it before anyone spoils it for you, because it was really crazy for me to see Star Wars pops up at the end of the trailer and then the name pops up, so you finally find out the name of the movie, and it was pretty
I have an
impressive
idea.
moment.
After trivia, we should discuss this. That way, if people want to turn it off because they haven't seen
They
it
can-
yet or whatever,
Yeah.
they can
I like
kick
it.
out.
All right.
They can
'Cause
kick rocks.
there's some stuff to
and not get
discuss there.
spoilers.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the
Cool.
trailer's out. I don't know if you I'm sure no one else saw this, but I was looking on the Twitter again, and they're putting out a Grand Moff Tarkin comic book, and he is a
Oh, really?
literal badass in this comic book. The little snippets that I've seen, he rips down shirtless, and he's calling off this stormtrooper to fight him. This is still when he's old, and he's talking about how it would take 10 of this younger guy to beat him, and then the guy fights him, and he just completely kicks his ass. Just taking this, he asks the stormtrooper for his hat, and then just slams it across his head. I'm like, where did this Tarkin come from? Like,
Interesting.
it's crazy. So there's a new Tarkin comic book coming out that I'm gonna have to read because it looks crazy. And then the last thing I wanted to mention,
Ooh, yeah.
Mandalorian, the TV show, is releasing on November 12th. That's the same day
so
Disney
yeah.
Plus is starting. So
excited.
I'm
Dude.
super stoked for that. So once that
And-
time rolls around, we might have a new podcast.
I'm pretty sure we will. There's no way
Yeah.
we can't not cover the Mandalorian. So
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so good.
hell yeah, it will be.
Hyped for it.
So that big awesome thing that we discussed last week, which was the easiest to gear list in SWGOH, there is an update to it on Reddit that covers all the characters. I believe it covers everyone besides Malak. So I mean, even Darth Revan is on there.
Yes, dude.
So that is very, very awesome. Link, of course, will be in the show notes, so you can click there, find it, and get over to it and check it out, because that is obviously some fantastic work.
Literally always open on my phone at this point. Like, I'm loving this thing. So
we'll get to how that's influenced our week here in a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
But the last thing before we go into that was a few of the big results from the survey that I wanted to talk about. Real quickly, for the most part, I mean, this was pretty overwhelmingly, I would say. People wanted to see more guests, so that's something we're going to work on. They wanted more listener interactions, so we may start trying to do like a community episode once a month where we just do a guest, all Q&A, something like that. And then we're going to try to talk a little bit more mod and just general strategy, territory war, grand arena team, stuff like that. You guys want more of that, so we are going to work on doing a lot more of that sort of stuff. Surprisingly, people considered the show to be a pretty good length in general.
That one surprised me.
I thought everybody was going to say way too long, but actually that was a pretty small portion of people. And we had, I don't know, 150 responses or so, something like that. I went through and read all the responses. There was a lot of great feedback, a lot of it that we will implement that is just really good advice, stuff that we hadn't considered. One of the other things that was really big was that people wanted the actual audio-only podcast to be longer, or sorry, not longer, but louder. So I will work on that. I wasn't aware that was an issue, so that's why the survey is great. And there was one person, only one that I noticed that said this, that they wanted there to be an audio-only version because they watch on YouTube. So if you're one of the people that found us just through YouTube and was not already aware, there is an audio-only version of the show, soundcloud.com/shatteredorder, or any podcast app like Twitch, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We are on there, so you subscribe on there and you can download it there, and it is audio only. The audio quality is usually much higher quality than here on YouTube or Twitch or whatever else, because, my internet is terrible. So, yeah.
One other note on that as well. I'm in the process of figuring out how to get us onto the Spotify podcast list as well. So eventually we'll be on all of those. I don't know why it doesn't just automatically like anything else, but I'll figure that out and we'll get it on there. So there you go.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, it is time for this.
Hey guys, what did you do in SWGOH this week?
So what do you say we let our guests go first?
I like it.
All right. It's been a busy week for me, man. Start right off the bat, Malak Unlock, of course. That's going to be the hype one for me. Gear 12 Zalbar, Gear 12 Canderous. I finished all the Zetas for the Darth Revan team, minus the Malak's one. I did HKs, Bastilas, all those. Let's see. One piece off, Sith Assassin being Gear 12. Gear 12 the Sith Trooper, and then I got 20 speed cross, which is probably the biggest achievement because my second fastest cross would be 16, so that was a massive speed bump for me.
Very nice. What was
Very nice.
the primary on it?
Ooh, good question. Let me get back to you on that one.
We're big mod fans around here.
Oh yes, that's an understatement.
Exactly. Yeah, we should mention this as well. Micro, what is your current GP?
Oh, okay. Fully modded for Grand Arena Territory War. I'm sitting at a nice flush 2.4.
2.4. And you've been playing for how long?
I started in late December 2017. And I played pretty casually for the first few months.
Very nice. Yeah, so I would just want to mention that because you have a very healthy roster for a 2.4, so it makes it helps for good content and getting ahead. So seeing the whole team that many. So what are you running with Darth Revan then? Are you running Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, and then the other three?
Well, right now I'm messing around with Malak, even though he's like year 8. But what I was running before is I'm a big fan of Sith Trooper, Thrawn, Bastille Fallen, HK, and Darth Revan lead. That's like the team I like to run. But I was gearing Sith Assassin to replace Thrawn because I think in the mirror it's better. And then I'm going to be swapping to obviously Malak, Sith Trooper, and the trio is kind of the plan.
Very nice.
Gotcha. I was asked because there's just so many different comps I've seen. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of comps, but it seems like there's only 2 or 3 that really work if you have good mods or bad mods. Everything else seemed to be very, very mod reliant. Like the Malak Sith Assassin comp, if you run that, you have to have fast mods or you just lose.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well,
Wink, I see Drew lurking in chat. So I think we should just right off the bat mention Territory Wars so that they can give them their props on this.
Fine. All right. The Get Good Guild, we battled you guys in Territory War, and man, it was close. So we cleared more of their teams, but still lost on points. They damn near got stuck on some Falcon ships. I think Beastodon in our guild had 20, I think it was 28 or 29 defenses. That is a lot of capital ships to waste on one team. Basically, his team and my team got loaded with turn meter. Mine lasted through 9 battles. And they had hell. We weren't sure if they were going to clear it. It was one of those things. It was like, if they clear this, they'll probably win. If they don't, we win. And unfortunately, they were able to clear it. So that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, man, that was rough. It was right around 100 we lost by, I think, right? It was just...
Yeah, somewhere right around there.
It was tough. It was a tough pill to swallow this week. But what
was the GP matchup for you guys? Guild versus Guild.
186, I think.
Okay.
186 or 196.
Right
I think we were missing 4 people or something.
Yeah, it was 46 versus 46. And big, huge shout out to these guys because they created a channel in Discord. And there were a bunch of us in there chatting and trash talking and stuff. It was one of the most fun Territory Wars we've had in a very long time just because of the camaraderie and trash talking back and forth and everything. That was seriously awesome. These guys actually reached out to us and were like, hey, we, start a Discord chat with everybody whenever we do a Territory War. So if you guys ever get matched up against these guys, join that Discord channel with them because it is a hell of a lot of fun. It really does add a lot to a Territory War and makes it much more enjoyable, in my opinion. So that was a lot of fun.
For sure.
All right. Well, I guess I'll move on to my weekend SWGOH. So I guess I should describe what was going through my head before I tell you what I did. And what was going through my head was...
That's a terrible way to start a sentence. What did you do? What have you done?
Yeah, well, so here's the deal. I got Darth Revan, and I was like, then all the stuff with the road ahead and some of the stuff that Carrie said and just everything, I was like, I got Revan, I'm good. I feel like something else is coming. Probably be like a marquee or something. You know what? I'm going to start working on characters that I have been dying to work on. So I just started unloading on gear and crystals. L337 gear 12, Range Trooper gear 12, Start gear 11, a bunch of other characters. A few smaller gear levels here and there, just started adding them in just to reinforce those teams that I really do use in Grand Arena and Territory War. Because I'm excited about this Grand Arena Championship thing. I'm like so excited, which we'll talk about later. But then it happened. The news came down from the sky, and it was like,
surprise! Gotcha, mother.
It was so bad. It was like, I swear, CG was sitting around there like, we're going to create the biggest paywall you have ever seen. It will be a tremendous paywall. It will be.
We're going to build the paywall.
We're
We will
going to build the paywall.
You're
It's
gonna
going to
pay
be
for
a
it,
legendary paywall. Oh.
Exactly.
And boy, did they build a legendary paywall. It's not tremendous at all.
Not just a fence. That's a
Oh.
wall. That's Grey Wall
Yeah.
shit.
It's, yeah, the great, yeah. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just, ugh. So, anyway, so now I am stuck in this spot with Malak where I don't think I'm going to be able to get him unless I unload the visa, which is very disappointing. So I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something exciting. I changed my arena team right after last week's episode. I went to an Emperor Palpatine lead with Basilisk Fallen, Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus, and Sith Trooper. And oh my god, this team is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Auto Jedi Knight Revan teams, like, I was getting messages in Discord from people that are like, yeah, since you switched to this team, like there was somebody that fought it like 4 times with Jedi Knight Revan, kept losing, literally could not beat the team. And then I was like, well, that's interesting. So I went in to battle them on auto, and I quickly figured out why. I mean, it does. It flat out trucks Jedi Knight Revan teams. And I was beating everything on auto. I do have a very fast Darth Revan and a pretty fast Basilisk Fallen. But, like, my Emperor Palpatine was like 200 speed. Darth Nihilus had decent speed with a lot of tenacity, and Sith Trooper was just tanky. And it was holding up unbelievably well, just because of all the debuffs, all the turn meter gain. I mean, the team goes constantly, and it is an absolute and total wrecking ball. However, due to the update, Basilisk Fallen, her AI is jacked up at the moment, and I dropped to 40 today. I had been staying like high teens all week until today whenever they changed it, because Basilisk Fallen is using her shock rather than fear ability first, and that really just absolutely screws this team because you're not getting the debuffs out. You're waiting till Basilisk's second turn before you start getting out a lot of debuffs, and it is very problematic to say the least.
It's a strong team.
I think it was in the patch notes they changed Basilisk Fallen to use that one instead, right? It was one of the.
Well, no, it was a mistake. They actually re-announced it in an update that they are going to switch it back to use fear.
Ah,
So,
okay, gotcha.
unintentional.
I like that mistake. Why do they always fix their mistakes? Come on. Sometimes mistakes are good.
God, please the Malak buyers like myself.
So what is the fact that Gamguard uses his expose before his taunt wrong too? Can we get that fixed? Can the tank taunt? That would be cool. I'd appreciate that.
That's totally fair. I agree with you. They should totally fix Gamguard.
Right? That is the biggest problem
if
in this game at the moment. My Gamguard will not taunt.
Everyone refund right now. Gamorrean Guard is glitched.
That would be nice, yeah.
I venture to guess 50% of people would be like, well, my Gear 1, Level 1 Gamguard will stay the same.
Probably. But it's just frustrating whenever they have a character set up to operate a certain way and then boom, changes. So yeah, I'm hoping they get this changed soon, because I can't even use my arena team on defense in Territory War because now it doesn't work because Basilisk does something completely stupid. But
and this is kind of off topic, but there's another one that's really annoying me right now too. Mother Townsend, Plague stops the dispelling of buffs. And if you read the way that Darth Revan works, he dispels the buffs if it's a stun. So he takes the stun first as the order of operations, then he dispels it and gains a stack of ferocity. When he's plagued, he's not immune to stuns. He just dispels it. But if he's plagued, he is still immune to stuns. And that does not make sense to me. I wish they would change that.
Interesting.
So really, it's a bug is killing Night Sisters against them right now. And I'm a big Night Sisters fanatic, so.
They're probably fine with that, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Considering they're Buffy Malak right out of the gate.
Yeah. Well, and, what you kind of mentioned about them dispelling the stun, that's part of what makes the Emperor Palpatine team so good, is because Palpatine has the AoE stun.
Exactly.
And it immediately gets dispelled. If you stun everybody, you're giving yourself, your entire team, 25% turn meter. And that is just, I mean, it stacks up very quickly. All right, Punk, what did you do this week?
All right, first question before I get going. Did our talk about easiest to gear 12 characters last week influence you gear 12ing L337?
A little bit, yeah. It affected things, for sure.
Because I am not surprised or shocked by that. Because I started working on First Order for that same reason.
Very nice.
I mean, First Order Executioner, I got him to gear 12 because we had talked about last week, he's like the 20th easiest person to get to gear 12 in the game. And then on top of that, what's his face? First Order Officer is 7th easiest in the game. So I'm like, if these two are that easy, I'm going to go in on my First Order and finish them off to have that good team. And basically, so I'm one piece away from getting First Order Officer to gear 12. I got First Order Executioner to gear 12
nice.
Before him. And then the news about Malak dropped, and I've completely abandoned my First Order again because they are telling me what to gear again, which I really, really love when they do. So,
are you going for Malak?
That is a good question. I actually am. I have decided that I am because I was able to gear 12 Canderous Ordo as well, which brought me able to do the dark side version without spending any money. So I finished the dark side version, and I was able to gear 12 mission Valve from gear 9 to gear 11 without spending anything.
Nice.
So all I need to do with her is spin the Zeta if I want to, and then she'll be able to go. I'm trying to gear what's his face Salad Bar right now because I had him at gear 8. I've got him.
That's where it was for me too. I had the 12.
Yeah, it's rough. So I'm trying to gear 12 him right now, or at least gear 11. I've got him at one piece away from gear 10. So if I can get him up to a place where if I spin the Zetas on those two, they're able to do it, I probably will, and just bang my head against that wall for the next 2 days until I beat it, and then hopefully I'll have him. So if I can do that without spending too much money, then I will be happy with that.
If you want to save your Zetas, you could too, because my friend did it with gear 12, but no Zetas, which is interesting.
Yeah, it'll come down basically to how hard they are to gear 12 versus how easy it is for me to just Zeta them. So because right now, with mission at gear 11, I only have enough gear in my inventory for one piece into gear 11. So we'll see what happens. I'm seeing where I can get and deciding whether I'm actually going to spend money and try or not. I'll definitely have it the second time easy, but I'm still deciding right now. So it's looking like I will, but not totally sure yet. So
I can't decide if I want to go for it or not. I think I'd have to spend about $40 or $50 to get Malak, and
that's not too bad.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I can't decide.
Feel you.
If you knew Wink, you'd know that his money spending tendencies are not like mine. So we'll see what happens.
I can respect that.
For sure.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and move on to this next topic?
Strong with us, this update is Young Padawans.
All right. So with everything that's happened this week, there is a hell of a lot to talk about, but this whole Darth Malak thing started with a breadcrumb of clues. And Micro, you were one of the people that was kind of involved with trying to figure this out, and of course followed it. You followed it closer than we did. Sig and the SWGOH guys.
Yeah, they got it.
Those guys do an amazing job. I mean, big community of people trying to figure this out. I think it took 21, 22 hours or so before they finally cracked it. But why don't you go ahead and give us a recap on how everybody solved this clue and all that sort of stuff.
So the very first like hour is shaky for me because I joined after the first hour. But essentially, what I saw through the Discord is they had the transmission link. They able to decipher it to hexagon code or hex code or whatever. I'm not a programmer, I can tell you. Then after that, they deciphered that into a link, which opened up the Darth Malak picture. And then once you're in the Darth Malak picture, in the bottom corners was a like a gold square with 3 portions of different hex-coded colors. And on the blue one on the bottom right, same thing, except it was 2. And those, once you decipher those, turn them into like honey encryptions. And then you had to do the honey encryptions. Basically, you just do it by hand and count through the alphabet, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, after that, they broke that and got a bit.ly address, which then put to the picture that everyone's seen at this point of the partial Malak Kit release. So all in all, it was very interesting watching everyone do it. I did 2 of the honey encryptions. I don't know if they ended up using them. They probably had them done already, but it was fun to do regardless.
That's very cool. Yeah, I was at work the night the puzzle came out, and I work. If you don't know, most of you do. I work nights, so I was able to check Discord pretty much all through the night, and those guys were in there like going at it all night. Now I'm sure that they were taking shifts across the whole world with people in that Discord, but man, they were just going like all night, and it was crazy. Very cool. These puzzles, I won't admit to having any part in the puzzle, being able to figure out any of it at all. Puzzles are not my forte, but for those that do, I am in awe of you guys because that was really impressive, really cool to watch, and I think it actually was faster this time than the Millennium Falcon one even was, and we all had a really good guess from the start, from the jump of what that one was even going to be, and it still took that long. So they knocked this one out of the park for sure.
Indeed. So, and ultimately, what it ended up being, obviously, was Darth Malak. The Starforge Showdown event was revealed. It started today on the 12th, or yesterday, or whenever you're listening to this. Started on the 12th. It was announced on the 10th. So we were given very little time, to prepare for this. Not only that, but the event is only here for 72 hours. It is a very short event. Requires the legendary characters, Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revan, and 4 of the characters required to get them. So it's like a double legendary. It's it's called a mythic battle. It's designed to be difficult. There is a 17,500 power requirement on all characters to even get into the thing. So it is more of a gear crunch. Once you get these characters, you can't sandbag it, essentially. I mean, you can to some degree, but power is very important on getting there. So it's basically like gear 10 to 11 with a Zeta, or gear 12 to even attempt to get Malak. It is very difficult. There's some good guides on Reddit on the light side and the dark side. The dark side appears to be quite a bit easier if you have, Darth Revan geared. So that is good to hear. I mean, it's basically all about Darth Revan, right?
Yeah, basically. That and the HK damage is ridiculous. You AoE with him and you just kill everything at the same time. I first shot at it. I did 4 hours of the light side, and I just went and did 1 try in the dark side, and it was easy.
Damn.
Yeah, I think it took I just sat and destroyed the side droids for 5 minutes till he got like 50 stacks, and then just almost 3-shot him. Just hit him 3 times and he was dead. So nice. The dark side one definitely was the reason that I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try to do the light side one, which apparently then I found out was the light side one is the one that sucks. So that put the pause in the step, but we'll see. So
yeah, and of course, Malak unlocks the 5-star. You basically get 75 shards of each, so you end up with 145 shards. So you then need another 180 shards purchased from the guild event store to get him 7-star, and his shards are more expensive than Wampa or Yoda.
Yeah.
Can we stop right there for a second? Why is the hardest character in this game to get?
Amen.
Only unlock at 5 frickin' stars, and then I have to spend guild event tokens to get him to 7. That makes no freaking sense to me.
Because a new territory bow is coming out.
Yeah, and then they're going to drain all your galactic event tokens so that you cannot buy whatever character drops in there. Dude, genius. You got it. You got it. You on the nose. It just doesn't make sense to me that it's 5 frickin' stars. It requires 2 journey characters to get a 5-star character. And hardest event ever, 5 stars. I mean,
10 gear 12 with Zathas.
Yeah, rough.
He's pretty good, though.
Rough.
He's
Joker, answer, $signs. Yes. Regardless whether it was 5 or 7, they were going to get the $signs. We just got screwed at the end of the deal. So.
Yeah, I have a lot of choice words to say about the entire event, basically. The way it was handled. I won't rant too much, but not a fan. Put it that way.
Well, okay, Wink, do you have somber music you can play? I'm just kidding. I'll say this right now. I played this game for 3 years now? 3.5 years? And it's just, this is the first point where I ever looked at something that was released and said to myself, you know what? It's the first time I actually contemplated being done playing this game. Because it's just got to the point where I'm so tired of being told what to do. And then at this point, I have every character, but that's still not enough after paying for Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan, that I still have to pay out the butt for the other characters to be to Gear 12 to get this other character who's not even 7 stars.
Yep.
I talked about it last podcast.
So
I don't want to be told what to farm anymore for a while. And then like a week later, here we go. You got to gear these characters up to get this awesome guy. No, you don't have to. Okay, I'll say that. You don't have to. But if you want to stay ahead of the meta, you do. So
and you got to do it in 2 days.
Yes, the time frame is also another thing. Go ahead, Wink. Sorry.
One thing that you're kind of saying as far as just the difficulty and the frustration, it's like the rules keep getting changed. It's almost like the unexpected becomes the expected. You expect that the rules are going to change, that they're going to keep throwing something into it. And you said you wanted music. I can give you music of something that is somewhat related as far as a TV show that makes you feel the same way. If you really want music, or we can wait till trivia.
Wait. I want to point out this at least from chat from Dakara. The event itself is awesome. I do like events where you have to think and you have to work hard to beat them, and it makes 100%. The game fun to try to beat something. Like I said we had a Malak discussion in Discord. It was just too restrictive to be fun overall, because you have to panic to get to the part that's fun. Like if it was less restrictive and still hard, then I would have been okay with it. But the fact that it's more about the gear than to get to the difficulty.
That was really my problem too. Like don't get me wrong, I have no problem with in-game events. You know, not every event needs to be Jedi Knight Revan's level of difficulty, even if Jedi Knight Revan was a paywall too. But if you're going to do a ridiculous... Okay, let me just put my rant this way, okay? So I had this guy who I'm friends with on my shard chat, and me and him made a deal that we were just going to gear whatever faction we wanted to gear. I'd gear one and he'd gear one. We'd Zeta the whole thing, right? So I picked Old Republic and he picked Sith. And I just like the Old Republic. I play all the games. And so I had been, by accident, panic farming for this event weeks in advance because I wasn't farming. I'm not farming any hard no characters right now, nor will I. I completely farmed gear. I didn't do any refreshes, and all of my crystal went straight to gear, and I had 5 Zetas available. So I had Zeted Karth, I had Zeted Zalbar, Mission, Gear 12, everyone except Zalbar, and it still cost me $230 to complete this event that I already had Zathis for, and I needed to gear one character. How does that make any sense?
Damn.
Yeah, and it's all because of that time frame too. If you had a week to do it, you probably could have spent way less than that. But the fact that it was 2 days long, mixed with announced 36 hours before it started, like it was just
And even if you have the gear, but you don't have the purple ability mats or anything, you're just screwed. It's just
and then that's a good point too, as far as you know, if you're still farming characters and building up your roster like I'm sure that you still are, then those purple ability mats sucked for a long time. And I finally in a place where I'm good with them. But like, I remember you thinking back in the day, and it's kind of like Omegas. It's like some of the higher up ones you have tons of, but you can't use them because you don't have the lower ones. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I will completely agree that the event itself is awesome. It's this one side of it that I've actually got to play, the dark side was super fun. I think the event itself is fun. It's just the requirements are where you start getting into the part that's upsetting people. So
that's true. And I mean, as some people are mentioning in chat, it's kind of exciting, a new type of event for getting characters. In a way, I really don't like the 17,500 power thing, because it seems like they've realized that the money to be made is in gear. And if that's kind of where we're heading, I mean, basically gear 11 requirement to even attempt the event is kind of frustrating. I wish they would lower it, even if the event is going to stay just as hard, to where you basically are required to do that. Like, it would be more understandable. But then again, I guess people will just bitch because it can't be beaten. So
Drew just dropped Drew's chat message. CG's next super OP tune will be announced in 2 weeks, but the event happened 3 weeks ago. It's pretty awesome.
Very funny. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's forget the event. I haven't even attempted the event. Tongue twister. I haven't even attempted the event yet. Everybody says it's awesome. I haven't got to experience it yet. I may or may not, depending on how cheap I decide to be. But what do you think of Darth Malak? Just the kit, the character. What do you think so far? They did announce that they're going to be adjusting his kit because he's not operating the way that they want him to, which is just odd, and I'm not even going to get into that because I'll rant. But what do you guys think of his kit so far?
Go first? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think he's what the team needed for raids. That's like my first impression. The problem they have is they don't survive. They don't have anyone with any build and sustain for part 2, even though their damage ramps like crazy. They just choose through Sith Trooper, and then your guys get picked off one by one. So if you can bounce between Sith Trooper now, or even run Sith Assassin if Malak's just enough by himself, I think there's some really serious part 2 potential. I also think that he's very nuts in the mirror match, because once you get Darth Revan's health down just by the AoE from your HK and Force Storm, etc., then when you Force Drain, Darth Revan just dies. He just one-shots him. And I think that's pretty massive for the mirror. Overall, I think he's really, really good. I don't know if I'm going to put him on like the same level as like Jedi Knight Revan or anything like that, but he's like a Scion to me. Like on release Scion is about where I'd put him.
Interesting that you mentioned Jedi Knight Revan specifically. I saw someone else mention this, and I 100% agree. Jedi Knight Revan isn't that great of a character. It's Grandmaster Yoda that makes his leader ability unbelievable. It's Yoda that is the total monster on that team. Jedi Knight Revan's okay. And somebody was talking about the event, and that the event really allows you to see that, I guess, because, I mean, without a lot of Jedi, he's just not quite as good. Whereas Darth Revan's kind of a monster either way. You know, Bastila Shan and HK, like, they do help him be amazing, but he can stand on his own and be amazing. Jedi Knight Revan is far more synergy based, which is kind of a good point. But Darth Malak himself, I kind of agree with you. It's a really good kit. he offers a lot. He has a lot of taunting. The tenacity down on basic is obviously a good counter to the Jedi. Although they've almost entirely disappeared from my arena. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple, but they gone. Malak's kit is pretty interesting because it does add quite a bit. He has the ridiculous ability of the 100% health damage basically, and one thing that I do like is he gains stacks. He has an ability that gives stacks where he gains a lot of different buffs, but that also counteracts one of his other abilities in which he inflicts fear, which cannot be dispelled or resisted, avoided, evaded, whatever. And it is based on damage over time landing on him or a critical hit. By default, he has 35% crit avoidance, and as he uses his 100% health damage ability, he gains more stacks that tack onto that. So he can add up to get a pretty significant amount of crit avoidance. So that kind of becomes a non-issue. The big thing will then become damage over time. So I like that as he gains those stacks, he does kind of get nerfed in a way. But because fear is a super powerful debuff, it is maybe the best debuff in the game as far as the debuff that multiple characters have. So I do like that they limit that to some degree.
More characters have fear now than have Deathmark, I believe.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, 3.
Interesting.
So what that makes 3 instead of I guess it's even now because Darth Revan does Deathmark, Death Trooper does Deathmark, and no, that's it. Those 2, right?
Just
and Gamguard should do Deathmark.
Gamguard should do it. That's still my petition.
That's beside the point.
The other thing is, I was kind of like picking through his kit the other day, and I almost get like a General Kenobi vibe from him because I don't see anywhere in his kit unless I'm just missing it here, where it synergizes with Sith Empire or anything. Like all of his moves just rely on himself. You know what I mean? Like he in and of himself is self-contained, and I really like that with characters. He seems like a plug and play.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I think the biggest effect that he has is that under a Darth Revan lead, he is the logical 5th character that fits in with Bastila Shan Fallen, HK-47, and Sith Trooper to get that plus 50% crit damage. And then once you're getting that plus 50% crit damage, an offense set will generally become the more optimal mod set for total damage on those characters rather than a crit damage set. So he's kind of the tipping point there also.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with this dude. I mean, I can see what Micro's saying about the plug and play aspect. It'd be nice to see him be a little bit better as far as plug and play goes than Scion was, because Scion's still pretty decent as a tank, but it's so situational and it can be dispelled, and it just makes him rough. If this guy can be more plug and play, I always think myself that having tanks that plug and play is a really good thing to have for.
Yeah. Oh yes.
This guy's obviously going to be in teams all the time, but so the point's kind of moot. But I guess the main point I'm trying to make is tanks that are plug and play in this game are amazing, like Old Ben, General Kenobi, Stormtrooper Han. The only reason I have Gamguard geared is because you can throw him in with dot teams. I mean, if this guy kind of fills that role and you can leave him out of certain other teams to make other teams that might be lower tier move them up a tier, that would be awesome with this dude. Whether you get him this time or the next or whatever, he's still going to be good for everyone that ends up getting him.
He'll be nuts for territory wars too, because one of the largest teams is the Scoundrel team, right? Well, if you just run Sith Assassin and Trooper with your Darth Revan team on offense or defense, wherever you want to do with it, and then throw Malak in to a different team, you can counter the whole Karth lead, Zalbar mission. You can counter any dot-based team entirely just by having them in the team, even if it's the team that wouldn't beat them otherwise.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
So, there's probably not a ton of people that are going to have Darth Malak, but want to talk about modding Darth Malak based on his kit. Because there are a couple things that he has mixed in his kit that really determine how you want to mod him. And I think the most important thing is he doesn't have protection. One of his unique abilities converts all of his protection over to health bonuses. So this does two things. It makes protection set much, much better. And it makes health set bonuses much, much worse because, whenever you give him a health bonus, it is a smaller percentage of his total health than it typically would be. So you're going to want to go with a protection set bonus. And defense, I think, will be a lot better on him as well, just because he's only working off that health pool, and he has a lot of stuff that kind of works based on his percentage of health, whether he's below 75, 50, 25%, whatever. He, kind of mitigating the amount of damage that he can lose in any individual attack kind of seems like a pretty good idea, because he also has a Kylo type ability where he takes reduced damage from percent damage health effects. So burn, damage over time, death mark, exposed, that sort of stuff doesn't do a whole hell of a lot to him. What do you guys think as far as modding?
Well, why don't we ask Micro here? You have him. Have you modded him yet? What did you do?
I have, but I think the modding is very simple. It's a speed set and a defense set. All of the primaries are protection, and there's an argument to be made for a critical avoidance arrow. However, I would probably still just go speed, and max protection with a secondary defense set. I think that's like the obvious go-to choice. He has amazing base speed. He's kind of like a mini nihilist in the way that he ramps and does consistent amounts of true damage. I think he's just completely nuts, and you want him to go as quickly as possible.
Let me see here. What is his actual base speed or maxed out speed?
165.
It's 165.
It's
all right.
what?
So yeah, that's pretty.
Oh wow.
That's
One less than
that's up
Darth
to the top. Yeah, not too bad at all. Very nice.
Yep, not too shabby. So the unique ability that I was talking about is the second unique, Jaws of Life. He gains the 35% crit avoidance, health, steal, tenacity, and defense while he has less than 75%, doubled when he has less than 50%, and tripled when he has less than 25% health. And then the first time he reaches each of those thresholds, he gains a bonus turn, and the cooldown on his Drain Life ability is reset. So,
okay, so this ability brings me back to people like, what's his face? Royal Guard. Once you get down to health, what are the odds that he's going to hit each of these individual milestones at different times? Because a lot of the time, these people are hitting you. If you're just into your health, they're going to either take you down to red or take you halfway or kill you, because a lot of these abilities, once you get down into health, the pool is generally smaller than the protection pool. So, I mean, I don't know how often he's going to be hitting that second special or getting that move off. Because if you're dropping him down to 25% health, you're hitting all three of those at once, right? You're not going to be able to use that move 3 times?
The other
Am I wrong with that?
No, you're right. It's one each time.
Yeah. So if you drop the 75, 50, and 25 in one hit, and he's down in the red, he's going to use that ability, that special once, kill someone more than likely, and never get to do that part of the unique again. Which is usually what happens when you can get down into the health out of protection. So if this I don't know what this dude's health pool is. I was looking that up on SWGOH.
That's what I was going to say. The other thing is he has the highest base protection in the entire game. He's 7k over General Kenobi, and it translates into health, right?
Yes.
So for this reason, you have to realize it may be 25% of his health, but he's already going to have the bonus stats from the first time he had 75% health. And then on top of it, if it's 25% of his protection, or the total of his protection is going to go into his health, so 25% is still going to be like 30 or 40k health, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's a good argument. I haven't used him. I don't have him unlocked yet, but I would be awfully damn tempted to go almost entirely deep, because the Malaks that I have faced so far in Arena, I haven't had much of an issue taking them out. He needs a lot more damage mitigation. Now, Darth Revan does have 100% defense penetration, so he will kind of ignore a lot of that. But, just slowing down how quickly he loses, so take advantage of all of those 3 thresholds on restoring his drain life ability and slow that down as much as possible, because the longer he's around, the more you just have dealing with him, and him being alive takes you away from being able to kill Darth Revan or Basilisk on Fallen, who are the real, they're the actual problem. Malak is just an unbelievably annoying distraction, in my opinion.
Yeah. If he's in the team, you are going to have to think about him first. Because if you leave him to the end without a strong team around on your side, he's going to just chew through them by himself. So you have to have a game plan when this guy is in the team because of that, because of this the unique 2, and his 100% health ability. So this dude definitely changes the plan of order of operations, I guess, when you're fighting a team with him in it.
Yep. For sure.
Interesting. Well,
Agreed.
I don't know that I'll get him this time for sure. I will be happy to have him when I do get him, but I really do like this kid.
Can I make a prediction?
What's that?
I'm going to make a prediction. That on episode 145, this weekend's we'll be discussing about how he unlocked Darth Malak.
You know what? For once, this is my off week on Saturday. So I will say this. If I worked Saturday, like tomorrow night, all night, I would not unlock him, because I would be too focused on sleeping and work to cover those 2 days we have left on this event. But the fact that I have off tomorrow night, there's a pretty good chance that I will be able to focus this down. So that's probably a safe bet. I will say that's probably a safe
Yeah,
bet.
I kind of figured. So people are mentioning, the thing about CG Satan. He's going to get a buff. He's going to get some sort of update to make him work better with Darth Revan. Do you guys think this is a good idea, bad idea, or what do you think?
I think this was their original intention with him, and it didn't work the way they wanted to, and it's a bad look to say that the day he's released to everyone else that, hey, he's not as good as we want him to be. We're going to make him even better. So everyone that's not getting him, who thought, oh, okay, I might still have a chance in the arena, is now getting double whammied, because they got whammied on the release or the announcement day. Now they're like, okay, I fought a few. This isn't so bad. Now this comes out and they're like, okay, well, that apparently that wasn't intended. And now they're getting slapped again. So it kind of is a bad look, but it's the look that they're going to give for everyone that's getting him. And that's good for the people getting him for sure. Bad for those people that are still not getting him. So yeah, it's just bad all around overall.
How I feel about it is, I'll say this. I think every single thing CG has done with this event has been deliberate. And I think all the way down to the confusing wording, so you don't know what you need at the beginning, all the way to the way that they're putting it after it comes out that, hey, he's going to get a buff too. What's really annoying me about the event is everything that's happened, they're not telling you what you're going to be receiving. They're saying you might need to do this, you might need to do that. Malak might get buffed. Why not tell us what the buff is? We have 2 days. If the buff's going to be nuts, maybe some people want to wail out, you know? But if they're not going to let us know on the last day, then it's just another ploy to get people, oh, it's the last day. Now we know the buff is way too strong. So let me just wail out on the last day. It'll be even more expensive. So maybe I'm being cynical, but for me, it just seems everything they do is just, for this event at least, has been single-mindedly focused on making people spend, and I think that's just another one of those.
Like, yeah, if they had,
I'll be honest,
curious because they said teams, and I wonder what the actual teams they're not performing it. He's not performing against are.
Yeah, they didn't state it.
That kind of makes me want to go on a rant about just the really amazing communication that we've had lately regarding SWGOH.
Don't do it. Don't do it. He's not going to be able to. He's paused.
CG's DDoSing him here.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, CG's DDoSing him. Oh, that's classic.
I'll bite my tongue. All right, so let's move along. The Stormtrooper would say.
Sounds like your internet's biting your tongue for you.
That's probably good. That's probably good. That is probably good.
Like every week. All right. What do you got,
dude? All right. So, just slight detour. Not this week, but next week, episode 145 will probably be my final episode here in this house, and the amazing internet is not going to be at the new place yet. I don't know when it's coming. This summer sometime is what I'm expecting. But I have done speed test, and my hotspot does get way better service over there. So I am really hoping that the internet clears up here pretty soon. Just cross your fingers and see.
Like, that might be the most historic moment for this podcast, is the day that Wink doesn't use dial-up anymore. Like, you know what? You should every time. Yeah, I wish I had a sounder
at my house.
I wish I had a sounder for every time you started going robotic that I could hit that played up the AOL dial-up sound. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought my internet was bad in Alaska, man. What's going on in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
no, you're way.
We got a guy in Alaska with perfect audio here.
We have the technology.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Anyway, all right. So onto the update. So, Gear 12 Salvage is now available from Light Side, Dark Side Battle Stage 9. I did a fake internet screw up. That way people on the podcast will hear what an internet screw up sounds like.
I was wondering what the hell was just happening.
So you can actually farm Gear 12 Salvage now, the gold stuff, which is really amazing. Wonderful.
Some of those things are actually doubled up with some other really good gear. So
yeah, like bayonets around golden eyeballs. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get bayonets with golden eyeballs. There's so many good. This is awesome. I like this change for sure.
You know what I wish they would have done though? I wish they would have put the gold pieces and the purple pieces required for those gold pieces on the same spot. But you know.
See, now I don't know if you're really lagging or if you're not really lagging. It's throwing me off.
Yes, my internet's terrible. So besides that, we got static platoons in Hoth territory battles. We've been seeing this coming for a while. They've been talking about making this, easier to anticipate. We'll get to why here momentarily, but they added slicing material to shipments, which are actually at a slightly reduced price. I didn't do the math on what it is. I assume it's more expensive than 50 crystal refresh, but cheaper than 100 crystal refresh. But I'm not 100% for sure. Now, the controversial topic of the week prior
Oh,
to
God.
the controversial topic of the week. They changed hard nodes. They dropped them from 8 to 5.
Yes.
What say you guys?
Well, let me just say this before you go, Micro. I only have like 4 hard node farms left, 4 or 5, so it doesn't hurt me that badly. But for everyone else who is still working out their roster and has a lot of characters still left to unlock, it is way more devastating. And the fact that right now, based on their wording for the reason they did it, think of it this way. They upped it to 8, knowing that we needed to get those characters, those hard node characters for Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan. So think that in the future, the odds are if we need a hard node character for an event, they're probably going to drop it, put it back up at 8. But right now, there's nothing to farm. So after Malak, what this signals to me, which makes me happy, is that we're not going to have a legendary or ancient journey for a while now that requires a hard node character, and we can finally start to relax a little bit and work on characters we want. Because if they have one that comes out in the next 3 months that requires a hard node character, you can almost expect now a jump back from 5 to 8 to start farming that character. And so they kind of clued us into something. So if you see it go from 5 to 8, that might mean something in the future as far as a legendary or a journey character means. Now, to me, this doesn't hurt me that much because all I'm farming is Goggles Chewie and Range Trooper. So, yeah, I'm not super stoked or worried about when I'll get them to 7-star, but like I said, sorry, I'm talking forever. Go ahead, Micro.
No, I like hearing it, man, because, like, honestly, you're preaching to the choir here, but I have a few things that I thought when this happened. So one of which is the reason this hard node change happened in the first place, which is interesting. There was a comment on Reddit. It's just a random comment in one of the threads that was saying, I wish they would do another temporary increase from 5 to 8. Just some random guy. And under it, the developer, I think it was like Top Hat or one of these guys, Crumb or somebody, said, you know what? We're having a meeting in an hour. This is probably a good time for me to pitch this. Maybe I can try to get you, a couple weeks of bonus time or whatever. So this whole however many months we've had it was because of somebody's Reddit comment, which I think is personally hilarious. But the part that I think about this change is, one, it's timed too perfectly. It's timed with the announcement of a new Star Wars movie. It's timed with the moving of all new marquees to a singular territory battle. Now, I know everyone's kind of hyped that, Hoth are now static, but I'm almost worried because if that's static, that means the new territory battle that's coming out, they're going to make the platoons, I guarantee it, twice as hard as the Hoth battles were, right? It's going to be like all of the new characters and none of the older characters is what I'm worried about. So I think that, tied with the fact that the new movie launched basically right when this change goes out, is pretty obvious. As far as hard node farms go, I'm right with you there too. I kind of have a different philosophy on farming. I don't actually farm hard node character shards very often. I farm gear with energy typically, and I only farm it if there's an event coming up. The only time I farm characters is, there's an event or I need it for a meta team. If it's not that, I just purely don't farm it and I farm gear. So it's not really going to change me at all. I'm not going to be farming the new guys. I'm just going to be farming gear for a while.
That's the other part to this change that I like, means if you're doing 5 instead of 8, by the end of the day, yes, I have a lot more energy to put towards gear, which
100%.
I'm going to be gearing a lot of characters in this, what I hope is downtime. So, yeah, that gives me all that extra energy for gear. So
that was the one thing I was going to say. I'm excited about the opportunity to start farming gear and get away from farming characters. I'm close to being done with hard nodes anyway, but I mean, just in general, just knowing that we're turning into another era rather than the rush farm era that we've been in the last 6 months, I am very, very excited. I unbelievably annoyed and frustrated before that Road Ahead post came out. The Road Ahead post gave me hope. you and I were talking about this.
Oh yeah, we had a nice heart to heart.
Yeah, we did, and I'll be honest, it wasn't good. And then The Road Ahead came out, and I think my exact quote was,
"Just when I think you can't get any worse,
knock it out of the park." Yeah,
you go and completely redeem yourself.
100%. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
reminded me of a Dumb and Dumber there. Just when I think you can't get any worse. Just when you think you can't get any dumber, you go and do something like this.
Yeah, that movie basically changed my life. That's a good movie.
Classic.
It is. It's amazing.
Samsonite? I was way off. All right, sorry. Anyways.
All right. So what's this next thing?
What is this next thing? Where are we at? Changed this is one I am confused about as well. Changed Rolo and IPD shards earned in TB back to 1 from 2.
Stupid.
This is what confuses me about this. We're going to talk about the road ahead and TBs very soon. But to me, what the road ahead says means we're going to probably end up doing these other ones less, which would mean less opportunity for these shards, which would mean I would think that they would have upped it instead of made it go down again. So I have no idea where they went back to 1 from 2 on this.
Here's a different take. Okay, so the reason for this is it's a new territory battle. There's going to be a new territory battle character. They're worried about long-term passive currency income. That's always what they nerf. Whenever they nerf something like tank rewards, heroic Sith rewards, etc., it's always to long-term passive income, like the Bronzium ally point nerf that came out too. So what they're worried about here is shard shop currency. Now, your point is, I don't think they're going to change the territory battles too much for the other one. I think they're adding more characters in. And so what they don't want is when everyone has it maxed in 3 territory battles to continually be receiving tons and tons of shard shop currency. So what they're doing is they're basically nerfing it overall. If they have one more character and they cut these in half, then we're really getting like a 30% cut. I think that's kind of what they're trying to do.
That is a really good take on that. I didn't think about that. Now, that take definitely is a in-game or mid to in-game take more so than new player, because it really punishes the new player compared to the older player. And I played this game 7 days after it came out, so I've been through the whole thing. I try a lot on this show, as you'll learn. Try to think of the new player as often as I can, because it's just a mindset that I don't have, because
without them the game dies.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's like for a new player with this change, it makes it really rough for them. But your reasoning for what you said totally makes sense. So, yeah. Did you lose your internet? You're muted?
Oh, I'm muted. I was going to say, for the record, like I don't agree with this change. Like I understand their reasoning, but I don't see why we can't have 900 shard shop currency from a territory battle. Is it so bad that we get 20 or 30, pieces of Carbontes or something out of the show? I mean, I really don't think it's a big deal, but they do. So.
No.
I have a theory.
I love theories.
So, what if part of the reason why they were doing this is because they were going to completely change the way territory battles work? And talking about that, I mean only the Hoth ones. What if they changed territory battles to be like they were originally scheduled to be on 12-hour cycles?
That would be absolutely nuts.
Wait, you're saying territory battle every... Oh, you mean the phases are 12 hours?
A phase would be 12 hours.
I don't think so.
That would get us through more territory battles. It would justify reducing the the shards and the rewards on it, because there are, at this point there are a number of guilds that are getting 45 and 48 stars, and if you start pushing that out in favor of the new Geonosis territory battle that's going to be coming in, I mean, something's got to give, because I would be very surprised if they come out with a new territory battle that is the new PvE thing, and they make you wait. You know, you only get to do it once a month, or if that. Because if they keep with the
sense, though, because
right,
everything
if they
else
keep
they
with the current scheduling where they don't overlap territory battles and territory war, you end up in a spot where you might only see it once every 2 months. There is no way they're going to do that with the newest PvE event. I don't see it. They've got to drop something or shorten something in order to do that.
Here, I've gotten to this point now in this game where if they run a territory war or a grand arena at the same time as territory battles, I'm not going to be offended. So if it went to 2 of the new one a month, as well as 1 of each Hoth, and there was a territory battle going every week of the month, that would still be fine to me. Only because at this point the Hoth ones are easy enough that I can auto them, and they really don't take that much time. So I'm okay with that. If they were to do a territory battle every week to get 2 of the new one in a month, along with 1 of each of the other ones, that's fine. And they've already shown that they're totally fine with doing grand arena and territory battles at the same time. So as a guild leader, that 12-hour thing, when it originally was announced, that was like the nightmare scenario. And we've seen with 24 hours how much you have to push people sometimes. I can't imagine how bad that would be at 12 hours. So I would be much more okay with 1 every week as opposed to 12 hours, or only doing 1 Hoth a month and alternating months, especially at that point for new players. Then they would really, that would get as bad for 7-starring either IPD or Rolo as Talzin and Wicket were on their initial implementations, as far as 7-starring them. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm really interested to see where that timing goes. So I don't know.
Indeed. All right, so moving on to Ebon Hawk was added to fleet data cards, fleet packs, and shipments.
Which I think signals another thing. I think that Galactic Chases are better marquees for new ships.
Yes.
Because
I'm glad you brought this up.
You can farm whatever you want, and you're going to get that new ship if you farm hard enough, or you make a few extra refreshes, which obviously earns them money. You do a few extra refreshes, you work on it, you can unlock that ship at 5 stars, and then past that point, they're going to release it a different way. Like now, already we have Ebon Hawk and the shuttle in these ship chromiums, but we don't know where they're going after that. I have a feeling that they're not coming back, Galactic Chases, for those 2 ships, and that every time those come, it'll be a new ship. So I think that's pretty much the signal right there, that one-time thing, go your heart out at first if you want to get it to 7-star. If not, at least unlock it, and then eventually it'll come out to a farmable place.
Agreed.
I would think if the Galactic Chase event was going to be a one-off thing for each ship, they would have mentioned that, because I feel like that would have really caused people to dump some money on refreshing energy to try to get those ships leveled up even earlier, rather than just expecting them to come back there. I could be wrong.
I think they did sort of mention it, though, because earlier in the year when they were doing the road, yes and no. They did not specifically state it, but what they did say earlier is that they were going to be trying out new versions of marquee releases, new ways to release characters. And I believe they would have mentioned, like you were saying, if Galactic Chases were coming back. I have not seen any event yet that they have said this is a one-time event. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
I'm pretty sure this is a way to try to be more profitable out of ships with the marquee, because the issue with ships, I believe, is that they're not making money from the packs from the ships, and people aren't just welling out straight on ships. People don't want to just buy a ship. And the other problem with it is a lot of people have the pilots done already. So there's no point in them trying to sell a pack that has the character shards and the ships in it like they do. And there's no point in trying to sell the gear for the character if they can just do the galactic chase for the ship and monetize that ship another way. That's what I think anyway.
That makes a lot of sense as far as like all the crystals spent on those refreshes, especially if you're trying to get them to 7-star. The only thing I can say against that is the fact that crystal-wise, I think it might actually be cheaper. I wish we had math on this. To 7-star a galactic chase ship than it would be to buy those $12.99 crystal packs for ships. But like you said, people probably weren't buying them anyway, so this is probably the better way to go.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so the next thing they did was they added a crap ton of super expensive gear packs. Go get your gear packs, because
if you want some gear for $100, they've definitely got you covered. So
all right, I'm feeling personally offended here because I purchased a couple of these packs as I thought one of them. I thought the $29.99 was a good deal. The other ones are garbage, but I thought the one that comes with like a little bit of crystals and what was it, golden eyeball and a stun gun for like $29.99. If you are a whale, i.e. me, and you are purchasing something, it's drastically cheaper. It's just a cheaper way to get the gear you need.
That makes sense. Yeah, that one. There's some of them. I will admit to not looking through what they were, only seeing some of the prices on some of them and what was in them. The higher end ones. So that one actually does sound pretty good.
The Gear 12 Plus are a complete waste of money.
Because I think a full stun gun itself already costs you $20 or close.
Yeah, it's
to
$25.41.
So,
$20 gets you $2,800, so it's like $19.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, yeah, it's okay. It kind of depends on what you need. And the other piece on there basically has a stun cuff involved with it, so that's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, the gear packs, it's hard for me to get on board. But
I don't know what the deal is lately with stun cuffs, but I'm always sitting around 250 stun cuffs. Why is stun cuffs suddenly really easy to get, but the other ones are still so damn hard? Like, stun cuffs are never a problem for me anymore. But stun guns and Carbontes, still a problem. I don't know what the deal is. But I guess stun cuffs come often enough in Grand Arena Awards, and there's somewhere else that I get them from all the time. And it's just, I don't know. Stun cuffs don't ever bother me anymore.
You get them a lot from territory wars, territory battles, too. It seems to be like one of the common things. So you kind of get them that way. Plus, they're one of the, I think it's technically the cheapest purchase out of the guild store. It's like one of the most cost-efficient things you can purchase in the guild store as well. So people tend to get them there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. So.
It's like me with Mark III Bacta Joes. I have like 10 full of these things. I just keep getting them and no one takes them.
The worst is, well, not the worst, but Mark IV Carbontes make me so angry. Because when I see them, I think, oh, sweet. I got a full Carbonte. Oh, crap. Wrong one. Wink, you're not moving. Are you still here?
I'm still here.
Every time you're not, like, you're just totally still, you can totally trick me into thinking you're gone. Like, every time. That's even better. You blinked. I saw you. Basilishan, the last thing, there was a separate post. Basilishan with the update was also given a new ability. The final text on the new ability that was added to her. So rest in peace for everyone like me that did not upgrade this ability before Territory Wars today. She has a new ability with two sides to it, but 2 upgrades to it. Final text. At the start of Basilisk's turn, she recovers 2% protection for each buff she has. That's a lot of protection. And all allies gain 3% turn meter, doubled for Jedi. So 6% turn meter for most likely if you're using her. And legendary battle meditation for 1 turn. So everyone gets legendary battle meditation and 6% turn meter in most of the teams you run with her. And legendary battle meditation got a change. It's 50% potency, 35% counter chance, double for Jedi, as well as now legendary battle meditation cannot be dispelled.
This
So-
makes no sense to me.
That is not all, though. She also had some stuff added to her kit. The entirely new ability gives, I believe, whenever
immunity,
Jedi Knight
right?
Revan is the leader is in the leader slot, not the ally slot, it gives her and him plus 70% accuracy, potency, and tenacity. And that part of it is absolutely huge because this team is going to be going against debuff-based teams for the most part. And I have noticed a significant difference in battling Jedi Knight Revan teams since this ability was added versus the way it was before. You know, using my Emperor Palpatine team, the debuffs don't land quite as consistently because 70% tenacity is a pretty damn massive amount of tenacity based on the way that it works.
There's also an undocumented change that I posted. You might have seen on Reddit. Her second ability, the stun
Yes.
that removes things, it adds inflict buff immunity now, and they didn't say that anywhere in the
Yep.
patch notes.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw that CG Top Hat commented on your Reddit post, right, saying,
Yeah,
"Oh,
he was
how
funny.
embarrassing," or something like that, and then they added it to the forum post.
Yep.
Like, "Oh, you caught us." I mean,
So-
how embarrassing.
Everything they did here basically made Basilisk Shawn mimic Basilisk Shawn Fallen. I mean, their kits are very, or at least their unique abilities are very mirrored of each other. It is, I do like that, but
For me, I have a huge problem with this update. Like, I could go and rant on it forever, but I don't think this was necessary at all. I think they added this probably because they were having and the buff immunity. Probably because the way Darth Malak went, they probably wanted to announce it a week, like 5 days earlier than they did. But they probably couldn't get the light side of the team to be able to clear it correctly with the way the puzzle was and the way the damage output was. So what they did instead was, instead of making like the health lower, because the Darth Revan team already can destroy it, so they need people to have to gear the Darth Revan as much as possible, they made Basilisk Shawn better, because that's just the way they decided to change this. And it makes no sense because rosters are basically a ladder, right? And every time a new meta team comes out, you're farming the next rung, and you're okay, now this is the next one, and it pushes that team down by one. But all this change does is further differentiates the Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan teams from every other team in the game. Jedi Knight Revan already beats every other team in the game minus Darth Revan, right? Which is the new next step on that run.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I think that this really only makes Jedi Knight Revan better against Darth Revan. And Darth Revan has a serious problem in the fact that there are actual counters to Darth Revan. I mean, the Sith Triumvirate can do it. There are Rebel teams that can do it. Darth Revan is far more beatable than Jedi Knight Revan whenever you look at the entire roster available to SWGOH. But Jedi Knight Revan does definitely lose to Darth Revan. So I think this is a little bit more of not necessarily creating rock, paper, scissors, but more about equalizing what can beat what. Because this doesn't help any other team beat Jedi Knight Revan. All this does is make it better against Darth Revan.
So that's a fair point, and I'm going to counter that point, okay? Here's what they should have done. Instead of, we have the top two teams, right? And then all the way down here is everyone else. So instead of making Darth Revan significantly better than Jedi Knight Revan, just make him a little bit better. Why does Jedi Knight Revan have to get buffed in order to make him better against Darth Revan? Jedi Knight Revan was already the most oppressive meta this game has literally ever seen. So it doesn't make any sense to me that what we do is we take Jedi Knight Revan and buff the team when this team is already nuts. And the only thing it does is make against Darth Revan, but if they want to make it better against Darth Revan, why didn't they just make Darth Revan worse against Jedi Knight Revan? That's what I don't understand. Instead, they added it the other way. You know what I mean? They added it to the kit of Jedi Knight Revan and just add more stats. And that's where my problem is anyway. But I can see your point, and it's a fair point.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree.
Totally
marginally.
fine. Totally fine. Agree to disagree.
Yep. All right. So, GoodNightPunk. Do you have any other comments regarding this?
He seems to be missing in action at the moment.
Oh, is he? My internet's terrible. Well, if he is missing in action, then I will just I will move on to this.
Back on topic. We're talking about Roadhead. Or Road Ahead. Sorry.
We're talking about Roadhead, really?
Road Ahead.
All right. So the Road Ahead post, there was, I mean, it was pretty good. What did you think about the Road Ahead post, Micro?
I was excited about it, man. Like everything about it, I'm pretty happy about. Like, obviously, I'm a huge fan of prequels. I mean, any Star Wars fan's gonna love prequels, so I'm excited for more prequel content. I'm glad that Jedi Knight Anakin and Ahsoka, Snips and General Kenobi are getting a little bit of love there. I appreciate that. I think that's cool. Thematically, I like it. The Grand Arena Championships, I'm hyped for too, because honestly, I want to see who in the world can beat my roster. I don't feel cocky. I just think that it's real. Like, I legitimately want to know how many other people at my GP can beat me. And so I don't know if this is going to be the Grand Arena Championships are going to be GP versus GP, or if it's like an EVO system where you just win and you go against other people who have won. It's going to be really hard to balance. I'm not sure. But I am excited for literally all of this.
All right, so we'll start with the reworks. If you don't already know, Anakin Skywalker, Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, who he already has synergy with, and General Kenobi are going to get marginal reworks to the degree that they are going to synergize and elevate each other. I absolutely love this because General Kenobi is the best tank in the game, and I frankly don't think it's very close. And he doesn't even have a Zeta ability. My God. So good.
Yeah, I have a thought about that when we get to that point. Go ahead.
All right. So I am very curious to see what they do with these three characters to make them all work together, because there is a huge pool of Jedi that you have the ability to make teams with. Jedi Knight Anakin and Ahsoka and General Kenobi, the three of those having synergy together, I think is going to be very interesting, because right now you have the Jedi Knight Revan, the Basilisk Sean, and Grandmaster Yoda that are, I don't want to say inseparable, because I do separate them in Grand Arena, but they are so good together that synergy is amazing. It would be great to have another strong core of Jedi that are absolutely amazing together. So I'm really hoping that they do that. Maybe give General Kenobi a Zeta ability of some sort, just to make him a little bit stronger, even if that is just like a synergy Zeta. That would be awesome.
That is exactly what I was gonna say. We,
Nice.
for the longest time with General Kenobi, thought, what would you do to General Kenobi with a Zeta that he would need? He doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
But
he would be
if they were to add another
if he gave a
ability.
generalized Zeta.
So that's my thing. They'll probably add another ability to General Kenobi that is specific to these other two characters and have a Zeta on it to make him work as a synergy with those two characters. And that will be the Zeta. And that makes perfect sense to me. And then, the other, what that makes me think of with this rework content, if the clones get a rework, another character very similar to General Kenobi that we talk about doesn't need a Zeta, but doesn't have one, is Rex, right? What would make Rex better? If Rex got a Zeta, it would be a synergy Zeta, no doubt about it.
I agree.
So if they, I think this means a clone rework is coming as well. It's just unannounced right now because of the Clone Wars era stuff. I think a Clone Wars rework will also come, and I think if they rework Rex and he gets a Zeta, it'll also be like what we think with Kenobi, where it'll be more synergy based than something that just makes one of the best leaders this game has ever seen even better. So, yeah, I'm really stoked for this. All right, I love predictions.
Official prediction on what they're going to do with General Kenobi.
All right, let's go.
They're going to take something that the Millennium Falcon has and give it to General Kenobi in a way. They are going to make it to where Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano cannot be targeted until General Kenobi is defeated.
So,
and it will be a Zeta ability. Yes.
I love it.
That's crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. I'll tell you why I'm really excited for this rework, because of doing that Jedi Master quest. I just gear 12'd Anakin, so I guess I just need to go after after Snips now.
Yep.
So I'm already ahead of this rework. That never happens. That actually is something to make you smile, as opposed to be like, well, great, I gotta gear this guy now. So I'm stoked, man. I love Clone Wars. That cartoon, it stands the test of time. I know you have not. I know you haven't watched
Star Wars
dude,
content.
but there's so many good stories. There's so many Jedis that get backstory, even though they were in the movies, that get backstory to them, that you feel for them. People get introduced that maybe even go one episode, like I'm a Gonna Die. I mean, I'm a Gundy. And so, but there's so many cool stories from Clone Wars. The fact that they're going to focus on it a little bit here this summer, and we speculated this, but now we know it's for sure. I'm really excited for this. No matter who gets reworked, I'm really excited. And for those of you listening at home, clones were our third easiest team to gear from our episode last week. So if they do get reworked, there's a good chance that really good team now, for whatever area they are good in after a rework, will be easier to gear than most of the other teams in the game. So keep that in mind going forward for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for these reworks, man. I love reworks. And it's just one of those things that, with all the panic farms and all the just paywalls, it's something that you have that they rework to make good, even if it's not arena, which it probably won't. It just makes them better for, most of the time it makes them better for Grand Arena. It makes them better for territory wars. It makes them better even in territory battles. I mean, there's just a lot of things that go with reworks that I really like, so I'm super stoked for this.
I'm going to say my prediction, so that way I'll look like an idiot when I'm totally wrong, but I think that General Kenobi's leadership is going to get a Zeta, and I think it's going to get a Zeta that anytime one of the clones gain that buff, it's shared with the other members of the team. Because right now they're tied independently to their roles. You know, you get stealth, whatever. But I think they're going to share it with everybody, is going to be my guess. Maybe not stealth, maybe not taunt, but like advantage, and maybe they're going to add something else like health up. It's got to be turn meter gain. There's got to be something like that to share within the clones. I'm hoping, anyway, my prediction is General Kenobi gets some kind of Zeta that makes clones okay.
Wouldn't that be really cool if somehow merging the Jedi into the clones was a thing going forward? Because in the movies,
that would be cool.
The clones are nowhere unless a Jedi is with them. And in the game, the clones are always by themselves. Now, they got Ima-Gun-Di and Plo Koon and General Kenobi. They all have leadership abilities that include clones, I believe. I'm pretty sure all three of them do. But no one ever uses them with the clones. So it would be really cool if they could find a way to work some of those unused Jedi that you never put in a Jedi team, to rework them to work better with clones.
What they need is like another faction tag, honestly. Like they need some kind of prequel Clone War era Jedi / Clone War, like Clone Wars army tag. Anyone that's related within the sequel, you know, the prequels, Clone Wars era that's within the army needs some kind of tag together to bring it all in, or else it's going to be hard to get it to work. The only thing that has both of those leaderships, like you're saying, is those particular Jedi, and none of them are fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right. So, what do you guys think about this? The Geonosis territory battle. This is kind of the big thing. This is the big PvE event. This was very surprising to see in the road ahead.
I am freaking stoked, man. And you know what? We've speculated about this. It's been on Reddit all the time, everywhere. It's been everywhere. It's like Hey, and you know what? Maybe they thought of this themselves. Maybe this was always their plan and we just wanted it and that's what they wanted to. But the fact that this is the thing that is going in there is amazing to me. I'm really, really curious to see what it entails, whether it's light side or dark side, whether we're going to have a light side version or a dark side version. Here's a thought I had the other day that would be really cool. If it's basically Geonosis where the arena is and everyone's light and dark side are fighting, wouldn't it be interesting if instead of 6 phases of light or 6 phases of dark, you had 1 phase of light on one side of the map, 1 phase of dark on the other side of the map, and you converged in the middle by the end of the territory war?
Love that idea.
That would be awesome. And I didn't think of that, but I was kind of thinking of something where they use both, because if you add, say, a light side Geonosis territory battle, you would then have to add a dark side Geonosis battle, and then we have 4 territory battles, each of which currently takes a week long to complete. It just really feels like that, like what we talked about earlier, that is extending new content out way too far. And I don't think they'll do that. They're going to want people, if these territory battles are built the same as the Hoth territory battles, where it is about increasing your galactic power as much as possible, which I suspect it will be because Grand Arena does the exact opposite. So they want to incentivize people to increase their galactic power. So they're going to keep that, I suspect. But it would be great if we could cycle these a bit more often rather than having to continuously wait between them.
I agree. Or I was wondering what you guys think about what if they run them simultaneously? Now, I don't know if they have the systems in play, but they're also saying they couldn't run Territory Wars and Grand Arena together, and they managed to figure that out. So I'm kind of curious what if they do like the Hoth, light side, dark side, and then they run this one light side, dark side, and they don't compete with each other. They're just independent on time schedules. I would like that.
If they did that, they would need to run Territory War alongside the Hoth territory battles, and then maybe leave
for sure.
Geonosis territory battles separately on their own thing.
Yeah, it's a good point.
What update are we on? Was the last one TU15?
Yes.
So the next big update will be this.
16,
yes.
Yeah.
Big
That's
update,
awesome.
yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you can probably expect this within the next month. That's my guess.
Yeah,
Probably
probably
they
now.
worded it,
Probably
I'm not
now,
sure.
because it's been TU15 was like a month ago from now. So, I mean, I feel like this isn't probably that far off.
I don't remember.
All I know is I want to know who the new guild event characters are, and if it's both light and dark on one event, are we only getting one Grand Arena? Are we only getting one guild event token character, or are we getting 2? I want to know what's going in there. Hoth battles, you had to have Hot Han, and you also had to have Stark, Colonel Stark. So what's being released for those teams, and where are they going to be released? Are they finally going to drop something in the guild store? Are they finally going to drop something else on the cantinas? Because I'm really getting tired of farming Cruise node for shard shop currency. I'll just say that. I really want to know what the new characters are, and a lot of people are speculating Padme, and I would not be surprised if we saw Padme.
Mid-riff Padme?
She's got to be.
Yeah.
She's got to be
It has to
associated
be.
with it.
Everyone wants
There's
it.
no way she's not going to be, in my opinion.
I agree.
I want to touch on. I'm going to butcher your name, so I'm sorry, but Forsuero had a comment in chat. I've heard rumors, maybe data mined, that guilds will pick which territory battle to do. That would be very interesting if you got to launch territory battles kind of the same way you do raids, in which it's not based on tickets or anything. It's just based on time. Like, say you have a week and your officers pick which territory battle you're going to do when the next territory battle launches, whether you do Hoth or Geonosis. that would be awesome. That would be a really good way because, you know, they are multiple tiers because like guilds like us, I mean, we get 45 and 47 stars on the Hoth battles. So we're kind of in that middle in between spot. The light side, we've gotten to where it's pretty easy to complete. It would be nice if there was something more challenging that gave better rewards. We would definitely pick that all the time versus another guild that's maybe at 40 stars. It might not make sense to go into Geonosis where you'll be reduced in the number of stars you get and maybe be getting less gear. So it's still worth it to do Hoth battles there for a while. I don't know. That could be a really interesting way to do it. I like it.
I would love that. I think that'd be a great buff for like newer guilds too, right? They can launch the easier ones if they want to.
Yeah. I think the only problem with that is lower end guilds will want to do the new territory battle.
True.
Oh,
So I think there would have to be some sort of way that can.
This is what I was going to say to that for what you're saying. Only pick one for every week, right? Let's say you can pick one for every week. Only allow you to pick the new one twice a month. The other time you can do 2 light sides, you can do 2 dark sides, or you can do one of each. Or you can do 4 light sides, you can do 4 dark sides for Hoth. Just allow it, if you do choose to do the new one, make it so you can only do it twice a month, and you limit the new content as far as not progressing too fast compared to what they want, while still allowing people to choose which one they do and the things that they're going to get out of it. You know what I mean?
Let me hit you with this tinfoil hat theory. What if we already know that they can determine how many characters you have of a certain star variety? So what if they require both 7-star Rolo and 7-star IPD to get into the next one?
Yep, could see that as well.
As a guild.
Yeah, that would be
That's actually a really good way to do it because, I mean, that is kind of the only reason those are the one things that are kind of locked to that territory battle. You know, the crystals and the gear and all that sort of stuff. You could kind of transition that to make it stair step. So say 45 stars in Hoth, that gearbox is equal to say 35 or 30 stars in Geonosis. So you can get your Rolo, and then you can move on to Geonosis. Even though you're getting less stars, you're still getting similar rewards or something along those lines.
All right, here's a question for you two. What do you want? 6 phases or 4 phases? Or tiers per battle?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't care about phases, but tiers per battle, I want 4. Absolutely want 4. Dark Side Territory Battle is so much more fun than the 6-phase Light Side. And I think that's why they did that. I think they knew that the 6 was just a little too much.
I wish that they would revert. Like, if they're trying to save people time, I wish they would revert the original Territory Battle map to 4 battles or 4 phases like the original Dark Side or like the new Dark Side one.
Yep, so, I agree. What do you think, Micro?
To be honest, I really don't care that much. I actually enjoy doing territory battles. For me, I don't really enjoy PvP that much. I'm kind of an oddball. I'm a PvE guy. Like my favorite thing in the game is raids. My second favorite thing in the game is whatever events that just happen to show up. My third favorite thing is territory battles. So for me, that's what I care about. As far as if it would bother me if it's 4 or 6, if it's 4 and I get less rewards than if it was 6, then I care. Otherwise, I don't care.
You know what's funny about that? You say oddball, but the fun thing about this podcast between me and Wink is he's a PvP guy and I'm a PvE guy. So
yep,
there's plenty of PvE people out there. They're the representation, and it's good to know at least with updates you can probably pretty much count every time on it being here's a PvE update. Next quarter is going to be PvP update. Next quarter will be PvE. And that's what I love about the game. Because I do enjoy PvP. I just enjoy the PvE more. So knowing that this is coming is exciting to me. Because I knew that the next update should be PvE. And knowing that definitely gave me something to look forward to. Even though I really do love Grand Arena. So
Let me pick your brain about why you like PvE. Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I'm going to transition. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to ask you. So for me, I like PvE because I'm sure most people feel this way, but the reason we like this game is it's like a trading card game, right? You can actually like start collecting your characters. You have your collection. You can use them places. And for me, I like PvE because I can actually play the game. Like, I have all these characters, and I'm sitting here staring at, oh, wow, this is great. That's a lot of money, but I can't do anything right now. Like, unless I pay crystals to sim energy, I'm still not even doing the battle. I want to use my Star Wars. I want to see lightsabers attacking things. Like, that's why I like PvE. PvP for me is I play the same 5 characters in the same way, or the same counter, the same thing. It's all decided. It's all math. All right, it's chess moves. For PvE, I get to pretend I'm doing Star Wars.
That is exactly the same for me, because I mentioned this in Discord the other day. Yep. This is a game where this goes back to farming gear. I want to gear the teams I want to play, and I want to have a place to play them, because a lot of times we end up gearing teams that we will set on defense and never even touch or play them ourselves. The computer plays them against other people. We don't play them ourselves. Like, I've got a full gear 12 Ewoks at this point that I don't even play because they're on defense all the time. Like,
or you don't even play because you're simming.
Yeah, that's the other part. I want to have this game be more about playing the characters we collect than having them and not using them, basically. That's why Arena is cool to me. It's fun to get the crystals. It's fun to dominate and be at the top and get number 1. But using Jedi Revan for 7 months straight for me was just a nightmare, because it was the same thing over and over. I could almost do it with my eyes closed. But when you start getting into events or like this Malak thing where you have to think for yourself and figure it out.
It was fun, by the way, other than the frustration. You're right, it was fun.
Yes, exactly. It's fun because you have to figure it out and you play your characters and all that stuff. I'm not saying, and I know what you're thinking, Wink, I'm not saying that PvP is not fun, because I do enjoy PvP. I just enjoy PvE more. And you had something to say, and I cut you off like I always do, so go ahead.
No, you're fine. It was really funny that you mentioned, like, math and chess moves, because I love chess and I love math, and that's why I love PvP. It's especially Grand Arena. It is about setting up a team. It is about modding that team and trying to make that team work as optimally as possible. PvP kind of it's different, and I like that optimization that PvP allows, which is why I love Grand Arena, and that is why Title Update 16 is so great, because it gives us territory battle on Geonosis, and it gives the one thing I wanted, the biggest thing that I wanted, an expansion to the Grand Arena, the Grand Arena Championship.
What it literally sounded like they wanted from the beginning. Like, this to me is the update that makes it what it was supposed to be from the very start. Because the first thing they introduced Grand Arena with is, hey, who's the best Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes player in the game, in the world? They're like, this is a battle, and we're going to rank the players, and you're going to know who's at the top. This is basically what this is I'm sorry, I cut you off again, Wink. I'm so good at that. That should be a bingo square.
No, you didn't cut me off. It was probably my internet that lagged.
No, okay. You just had a silence, so I went on. But I'm just saying, what they're adding is Grand Arena Championships, which basically ranks players in Grand Arena. And I think this is what they intended from the start, because they wanted to rank players and say, who's the best? At this point in Grand Arena, everything is hearsay, right? I could say right now that I've won every Grand Arena match, but that doesn't mean that I did, you know? The way to prove that is to show it by stats and rankings and wins or points you've earned and all those types of things that will show who has that actual clout and who doesn't. So this to me is amazing because not every, but most PvP games have a ranking or a ladder system, and
exactly.
it's nice to have something that's going to show it. Now, is it going to be perfect off the bat? I guarantee there are going to be massive holes in this ranking system. Guaranteed.
No doubt.
But that doesn't mean it's not going to be fun anyway, despite it. Because people are going to say, oh, it's just wins, or I had more points than that, or this or that. People will say things, and it'll be changed over time. But what they're doing is implementing something that will start to rank your Grand Arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, people are saying in chat, this is something that they mentioned in the beginning, which is true. I really did not expect this to come this early. I figured they would release Grand Arena, then do a PvE thing, and then after that we would see an expansion to Grand Arena. But the Grand Arena expansion is happening with the next PvE thing. It is happening soon. It's happening faster than I expected, which I obviously love. I am so excited. And like you're talking about, the rankings, I mean, this is something that so many other games have, is they have these small tournaments and these ways to kind of advance, over, like, I don't want to say I've been losing interest, but with everything that's happened, like we were talking, our conversation that we had this week, just kind of about state of the game and some frustrations and stuff. Like, even Grand Arena, I've just kind of been like, ugh, like, but something where you feel like you want to advance to the next thing, so, tournaments and, bigger rewards, and that is super exciting. I understand that's what Grand Arena was meant to be, but I'm just so excited that's happening this early. I am unbelievably just anxious. Cannot wait.
I agree. And one thing I wanted... one thing I'm curious about with this is what if it will have separate ladders for different GP rankings. Because right now you have different ladders in... If that's the case, that'll be good, I think. Because I think that it needs to have seasons where you start off in a certain bracket. And maybe the season can't be that long because of GPs changed that much. And someone at the top of a bracket will move to the next one within that season. And it puts them at advantage. But it needs to be bracketed by GP, because someone newer to the game does not want to be bracketed with someone that started playing when the game came out. You know what I mean? So I think they need to have brackets by the GP for the ranking system, and it'll be good to have the people between 2 million and 3 million bracketed in the same spot, or 0 to 500K ranked in a bracket, and 500K.
I actually have a prediction on this. So right now you get ranked, it's basically in order. Like, say if you listed out all of your GP, it just takes brackets of 8 and goes 8, by 8, and that's why you can basically set yourself up to battle people by setting your galactic power to the same or similar. You can get matched up with people. So what I suspect that they will do is they will do that for the first round. And then say everybody that finishes, say, top 2 or whatever in that, or maybe even top 4, they will go on to the next bracket, and it will relist all of those, and it will take the 8x8 there. So as you start progressing through this bracket, you are cutting out people, but, you're still facing the winners that are closest to you in GP. And that will allow people with lower GP to then face people with higher GPs, and generally giving people with higher GPs the advantage. And, you could do it based on seeding on galactic power, and just kind of do that through however many stages you want to do. You could do that pretty easily. And, like you said, it would allow people to face others with different galactic power, and really not have to bracket it that much. It's just kind of funneling people, basically.
Here's my thoughts on it. I love the way you're interpreting it, because if it is that way where you're climbing through basically an elo ladder, right? and you get to a certain point where you're at the top of wherever your bracket is, then you go into the next bracket. I think that's a great way of doing it. However, I don't think they're going to do it that way because of a couple reasons. One of which is everyone wants to feel like they're the best. Currently, Grand Arena is not accomplishing that for them. Like you guys touched with the ranking systems in other games, people want, they want a number. They want something associated with them. Instead, people just don't care about Grand Arena. So if they make it where it's a global ladder based upon galactic power in those divisions, what's going to happen is people are going to see these astronomical numbers, and I believe they will not be invested enough in the rank, and they won't be able to hit that rank 1 or whatever it is in their bracket. So what I think they're going to do is I think they're going to cut up the GPs into very small brackets. I think it's going to be like 100K or 250K brackets within whatever your range is. And for that reason, it's going to help their monetization because people will actually have an achievable goal of getting to like the best in their bracket. And that's my take on it. But I kind of hope it's the way you do it because even though I'm not like a PvP guy, I am a competitive person and I want to know how I stand straight up. I want to know, can I take 3 mil rosters? Can I take 3.5 mil rosters? I want to know. Well,
and what you said is in a way what I said, because if you start taking brackets and doing it the way that I stated, I mean, there will only be so much of a range of galactic power of people that you will be able to face mathematically. So, I mean, it would kind of solve that. And then you could also do something where you factor in records. So as you get better records, you get placed into more premium leagues like the next season or whatever.
I like that.
So there are a lot of options, and this is something that you do kind of see in other games is various leagues based on how much you win. So I mean, I'm curious.
Those are good points.
Come up with, but
I have a question then. Once we start getting into brackets that are smaller and smaller as we move up, do you think they have to change the matchmaking of not fighting the same people that you've fought previously? You think they'll have to make it to the point where people have to fight the same people near the top of their brackets and, to move into the next one?
I think you would
think there's enough people that it's not an issue?
Yeah. I think you would have to go through a lot of Grand Arenas before it logically made sense to make people start rematching.
To give you an idea, I played League of Legends. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that game, and I got pretty decently ranked at some points. And when you get to the higher brackets, the way they did it in League of Legends is they forced it where you can only get so many people at the top ranks. So the people, as they climb, would kick out the people on the bottom ranks, and that way there's a limited number and quantity of it. And for that reason, I kind of hope they do something similar because there's so many people now. I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be possible otherwise. If you want to be ranked 10 in the world or something, how are they going to do that? Because the matchups, you're going to consistently get the same people, I think, otherwise.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how those matchups end up working out and how they... You're going to... Once you start reaching the very top, you're going to have to find a way to push people out and keep them there because you can't have a top 10... And then, okay, well, we got to make this a top 20 now, and then we got to push this to 30. You've got to find a way to separate the top, the cream of the crop, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
I agree.
Great comment from Chickenbottm, who usually has really good comments in our chat and on our Discord. But Chickenbottm says, here's his concern. And I completely agree with this as a PvE player who really wants to go ham gearing every character on my roster. His concern, with new TB maps coming out, which will definitely be harder and require a lot more GP, I do not want my guildmates to keep their GP low for Grand Arena. I really want them to solve this issue. So basically what the issue is, TB came out, expand your roster, gear everyone, get your galactic power up so that you can be the best as a guild in territory battles. And then Grand Arena came out and it was like, if you're lean on your roster and you don't have the crap geared up, but all you have is good characters geared up, you're going to do better in Grand Arena. Well, now we're getting more territory battles and more competitive Grand Arena. How do you balance that, right? Because one side is going to want more galactic power for their territory battles for their guild, and one is going to want to beat their Grand Arena. So do you have to pick a side? Is that what they're telling us? Like, because at some point you're going to have to gear your bottom of your roster for territory battles to get to the top stars in territory battles. But that also hurts you in Grand Arena. So where is the fix for that?
This is very easily solvable.
I hope so.
Make the battles actually difficult and quit making it get rid of the deployment system.
So make it basically make combat missions worth the galactic points to get the stars, so that your 4 or 5 teams that are strongest are the ones that carry you through the territory battle, not your full roster.
Because I kind of feel like their initial idea of, you know, using territory battles to force people to increase their GP versus, and then having Grand Arena that wants you to keep your GP lower, I kind of feel like people probably do whichever they prefer. Like, since Grand Arena came out, I've kind of quit leveling up way lower geared characters.
Yep.
And I suspect that this is probably something that they see widely. And based on their recent actions, I suspect that they have realized that there is probably more money to be made in selling gear than there is in, like, marquee characters, something along those lines.
Completely agree.
So if that is the case, then it would logically make sense for them to get rid of the deployment system and just make battles more difficult or add more battles to force people into, you know, having to gear those characters up to beat them, and also having requirements. So this is something that we've seen on Hoth, where like one will require Rogue One or one will require Rebels. If they had, you know, multiple battles in a zone, or even throughout the thing where you have like 6 different factions, they're required to be, you know, top tier level, that would probably fix that issue to some degree.
I love that. I love that way of dealing with it. And I completely agree, and I hope they do it, because there's nothing worse, and I'm sure as a PvE player you would know this too, is that there is absolutely nothing worse than fully maxing out a character, loving this character, and then just simming them into deployments. You know, it's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, exactly.
I had the strongest Wampa in our guild from the start of territory battles, and guess what? I wanted to use the heck out of him, but guess what? He was in platoon. So once we got to phase 5 or 6, throw him in the platoon.
They're the worst. It is the stupidest part of this entire game.
I'm totally on board with this idea, only because at this point I feel like the only reason when territory battles were announced, we didn't know about were territory wars before territory battles? They were after, weren't they? Because it went territory battles, territory wars,
I wouldn't know.
Sith raid, and then it went Grand Arena. So territory battles came out, and they're like, use your whole roster, and everyone was super excited. I can gear everything and get it to gear 7 or 8 or whatever, and then territory wars came out. And it really didn't matter in that. Grand Arena is what it really affected. So all those people that were hanging back, you know, sandbagging their GP, it ended up being a good thing because it helped out in Grand Arena. I really don't find any enjoyment in gearing a character that I will never use. So it makes sense to me in territory battles to only use teams that you want to use, and use that as the indicator of whether you're good in that territory battle or not, instead of just being, okay, my whole roster's strong because I have every character 7 stars and gear 9 or whatever. That would make more sense to me. overall, that just makes the most sense to me.
I mean, it's in the
Because
name, right?
the
It's territory battle.
Like the only reason. Give me a reason to gear these characters is what I say. These reworks that they're talking about are reasons to gear characters. If you go and take a character that's really bad and then make them moderately good, people have a reason to gear them. Like, you don't know this, Micro, but for the longest time, we had a segment on this show called Jerry Facts. Jerry is Magma Trooper. For the longest time in this game, Magma Trooper was one of the worst characters in this game. One of the worst. Why would you gear Jerry? There's no reason to gear Jerry. He's just Jerry. He stands on the sidelines saying, hey, I really would like that Carbonti, but if you got someone else to give it to, give it to them. That's fine. I'll wait. I'm cool. Well, then
I have a bunch of Jerry.
Imperial Trooper came out, Imperial Troopers came out, and suddenly Jerry had a purpose. He's got one purpose, but he has a purpose, so people will gear Jerry for that purpose. Give me a reason to gear those lower geared characters with a purpose, and then I'll gear them. Don't make me do it just because I need GP for the territory battle. I really like the idea of reworking old characters to make them good, even if they're only good for one thing. You get to choose the character you want to gear and what you want to gear him for and what the reason you want to gear him is. And that's why it should happen, and not because of a random number generator for territory battles to get a star. So I really, really, really like that idea of using a certain amount of teams and using the combat missions as a way to decide your stars in territory battles. And also it means you get to play it. RNG is not going to decide whether you're good or not. You play the battle and do as best as you can, because at this point, like you said, that's a good reason a new territory battle is coming out, because I'm to the point where I sim everything in territory battles. I don't even play those anymore. And that's one of my favorite pieces of content. So I'm ready to do that again and make me play it so that I can max it out until the point where we can sim it again. That's totally fine, because everything gets to that point. But I want to play my characters. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
100%
I think this
All right.
I think this road ahead post was really great. I summing it all up in general, it came out early this time, which was awesome, especially given the timing for the Darth Malak announcement. This was perfect.
100%.
I'm really glad we got it. I'm looking forward to what happens in the future, and I know for a fact that we will talk a lot about it. So how about we stop talking about us and our thoughts and start talking about the people that support this show? What do you say?
You don't always have to pay for the best. Sometimes the best things in life are free.
That is true. Free things. We like giving away free stuff. So it is time to give away some free stuff. GoodNightPunk, can you get on Twitch and download our Twitch subs? Because I don't currently have access to that. And I will go through and do some Patreon giveaways while you figure that out. All right. Micro, I need your assistance.
What can I do for you, my man?
I need you to pick a number between 1 and 14.
In my head, or say it out loud?
Say it out loud.
11.
That is a really good number. I like that number. Let's see. All right. Number 11. Han Pikey. Han Pikey is the winner of a $10 gift card.
Dude, Han Pikey wins everything. He won fantasy football this year. Now he's winning his $10 gift card. Come on, bro.
Terrible. Damn it. Well, that's disappointing. He beat me in fantasy football. I don't want him winning a gift card, but nonetheless, we will give you the $10 gift card. Han Pikey is up, and we will let us know your platform of choice, and we will get you that gift card. As for the rest of our Patreons, I am going to read off some names of our really amazing Patreons for the month of March.
Listen to him butcher these names. It's fantastic. He butchers
I
them
will
every
butcher
time.
them, I assure you. And we thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Can't do this without you. Can't do giveaways without you guys. We really appreciate it. So thank you, and shout outs to Simma, SupremeVengence, Jpod, EltonBlues, Vos Landeck, DorianBlade, Randy Marsh, JaredT, ElectroDuval, Azaziel, Chickenbottm, BMZR, Cable, Rooskis, Ben and Z, Zsplash, Stlbrews, Recoyle, Worbobby, Turner Viobi, Tiric Thorn, Ringer, Rock, Paintedland, Boba Finn, Jitsu Jet, Soaker, The James, Seafront02, Dean Paxton, Wookie Cookie, Gorstag, Laoran Dethein, Mykhal Bluuthe, Infidel, Zyzer, Darth Malak Kit 2, Ron Paul Bunyan, Han Pikey, Bedor, and Saul. Thank
Saul?
you guys
Or is it
for your
Soul?
support.
I think it's
It might
Soul.
be Soul.
Because soul is the
That is
Spanish
sun
word for
in
sun.
Spanish.
So
Yes.
I don't think it's Saul.
Look at
I think
us
it's
knowing
Soul.
our Spanish. I don't speak
Well,
Spanish.
To
me,
live in
it looks like
I
Soul.
live in Arizona. I border
That's fair, I
Mexico, and I was born in El Paso, Texas, which is basically Mexico. So I got a little bit of the Spanish in me.
Ah, well that makes
Don't
sense.
quote. Don't ask me any Spanish things or anything else. I just lied out of my teeth right there. Where do I get our Twitch subs
that
from?
doesn't
I'm
surprise me.
clicking everything in here, and I can't find that list.
Well,
You got Streamlabs?
there is a spot where you go to
I do have Streamlabs.
channel something or another, scroll down, and you will see something about subscribers, and you can download the subscriber list. But while you continue looking for that, I will once again ask our lovely guest to pick a number. I gotta... You know what? I'm going to do this easier because I don't want to count. I am going to just roll my mouse around blindly, and whoever name that I land on is who is going to be the winner.
Nice. Plinko style.
Plinko style. I like it. All right, we have a winner. And this is for your choice of a $30 gift card or a Shattered Order t-shirt of your choice. BMZR. So BMZR, hit us up. Let us know if you want that gift card or if you want a t-shirt, and we will get that to you as soon as we can. Thank you for the support. Now, GoodNightPunk. Have you made any progress?
I think that's a big negatory, big guy.
So
I
you
have no
killers.
idea where you find this thing. I'm gonna go to
So if I-
Streamlabs, like he said, and
It's on the dashboard on the left-hand side, about halfway down the list.
all right, I'll do the Streamlabs version. So you tell. Oh man, good times, good times. All right,
Oh, I think it's
we're
under
almost there.
I think it's under analytics and then channel.
Mm-hmm.
The channel thing under analytics. I believe that's where it's at. You have to scroll down just a bit, but you'll see somewhere where you can
Oh,
you'll
there it
find
is. You're right.
subscriber
I
list,
see
something
it.
along those.
All right, I got it. I got it. Good looking out. It's gonna open here. It's opening. The
All
tension
right.
is high. Who's gonna win?
Ooh, all right.
All right. Excel Mac. It's opening.
Oh,
All right,
this
let's
is
pick
exciting.
let's pick the number, and while it opens, once it opens, I'll tell you who wins. Actually, you need
Well-
to know how many people, don't you?
I need to know the options.
39. 1 through
39. All right. Let me pick the number. I am going to pick the number. You know what? I am going to pick the number that I picked that got me the lovely Stormtrooper Han Zeta, 37.
37. All right. We're almost there. Apparently, Excel for Mac from 2011 is super freaking slow to open.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. Eventually here it's going to cover Micro's face. There it is. It's covering everybody's face. All right. 37 is... As you can tell, we were not completely ready for this, but you can blame that on me and my personal emergency there. 37. The one. The only. Persh Dog. We know Persh very well. Very active in our Discord. Persh.
Congratulations, Persh Dog.
That thing is so, like, the way it drops off at the end is so pathetic. It's
a little sad, isn't it?
All right, Pershie. Pershie, we got you, buddy. You got your $30
And you get
gift
to
card.
pick a Shattered Order t-shirt or the $30 gift card, your choice.
Yes, yes, very true. All right, so there is that. All right, now
Congratulations.
let us move. All right, so I got a question for you, Micro.
Okay.
Have you ever been actively involved in Shattered Order podcast trivia? Because if not, you are in for a treat.
Oh man, is this the part where I gotta say I've the last episode I watched was the last one, and that was an hour before the podcast. So no,
Yeah.
I'm going in blind.
Oh
sure.
boy, buddy, you are in for a treat, because guess
All
what?
right.
We are all going to fight against each other and see who has the most knowledge on a topic that Tesh, our trivia master, did not even tell us the topic this week.
Okay, I love it.
All right,
That's what really scares me here. Why don't you hit that sounder first?
we are skipping the poll, correct?
Are we going to skip the poll? I forgot about the poll. No, let's not. Well, you know what? We'll post the poll responses in our Discord this week. We're at the point where we need to do trivia. So, as far as the poll goes, we will post poll responses into Discord this week.
And in the show notes, there is a link to the doc. You can see them, and maybe we'll touch on them next week. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, real quick before we do this, Micro, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I've seen every episode. I love it. Game of Thrones was the music my wife walked down to during our wedding. Yes. Love it. Let's do it.
It's good stuff. It is some really good stuff. So if you don't know, Game of Thrones starts back this weekend. We are unbelievably excited. So in honor of that, and in honor of the fact that there were multiple requests of more sultry female on the show, our trivia music this week was I actually recorded the sultry female playing, so I hope you guys enjoy this.
It's time for the sexy bearded duo to battle in their SWGOH knowledge in the most exciting trivia event in the Outer Rim. It's time for the Shattered Order Trivia. May the Force be with you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like that intro.
All right. So we have some lovely
One question
Game of Thrones
before
harp music.
One question before we get into this. When does your girlfriend's tour hit Arizona?
That is a good question. I am not sure.
Get back to me.
I will. She's actually been talking about going to do some competition in Russia or something. I don't know if she's going to do that, but if we pass through Arizona, I will let you know.
Hey, cool.
And so I'm hoping at some point that maybe I can get some like live sultry female harp music, or maybe just
snap.
something
That'd
like
be
that
cool.
at some point. If you
Just
guys
have her
like
behind
the
you
harp
the
music,
entire podcast playing the harp.
that would be awesome.
Star Wars music only.
Yes, exactly.
She knows a couple Star Wars songs. We may have to make that happen. That would be pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's jump into trivia. I don't know what to expect. Tash sends us the game code every week, and he had a different demeanor this week. I'm expecting this to be some rough stuff. So
hold on, you
I'm
guys
willing to bet that it'll be Malak Kit.
I
Kit
suspect
stuff.
so.
That's my guess. So, Micro
I
might have the
suspect
edge
so.
here. For everyone out there listening, go to Quizziz.com. And this is your Quizziz.com code. The code is 918448. Again, that code is 918448.
All right, so Micro, GMP, are you guys both ready?
I'm figuring out the
ready.
website real quick.
All right.
Bear with me one moment here.
It's kind of a nightmare at points.
Do I have to
but-
sign up for this or?
No, you can do it as a guest.
Oh, okay. Let me. You can start if you want. I'm just a few seconds behind here.
No, it's all good. Hey, I just want to throw this out there.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Twitch streaming lately. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I've noticed one thing throughout all of it. A lot of people use Blue Yeti microphones on their streams.
And there's a reason.
Like, there's a reason for that. I don't know
They're
if you
amazing.
guys know this, and you might not see it. Look up on the top right of this Twitch stream. For those of you that can't see, we are sponsored by Blue Microphones, and there's a reason for that because we freaking love these guys. Me and Wink both have Spark XL microphones. I think Micro's even using a Yeti right now, right? You got a Yeti? He's muted. He has a Yeti. He told
yes,
me.
Blue
I
Yeti.
swear to
Sorry,
God.
I-
Yeah, so
It has a lovely mute function that works very well.
yeah, the
I
mute
know it's
function
on.
on the Yeti is amazing. Blue Microphones just has amazing products. These headphones me and Wink are using, wireless. Yeah, they have amplifiers and noise canceling. They're amazing. Just Blue products are great. So if you
They are.
are interested in getting into streaming, getting into content creation, or even just playing on your PC with a microphone and your headphones, any of that, go ahead to bluemicrophones.com. They have amazing products. They have amazing stuff for you to use. If you go and you decide to buy something, I have a tip for you. Use Sopod at checkout, and you will get 20% off of your purchase.
Heck yeah.
Which is
Actually, pretty good.
really good deal. So Sopod at checkout. If you have anything from Blue Microphones you want to buy, use that code, and you'll get 20% off. Thank you for Blue Microphones for always supporting us the way that they have for at least a year now. I really love these guys, and they make amazing stuff. So go check them out.
I'm in the game.
Micro,
All
you're
right.
in. Wink, are you in?
I am.
All right, then let's do this. I'm going to read off the first question, and we're going. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Let's see how much attention you pay during that Malak event. What the heck was making him reset the cooldown on Drain Life? Good luck, Wink.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, got that one wrong. Yikers.
Whew. Got it.
All right, I got it too. I chose making him... I guess we should have read the answers. Sorry, everyone at
yes.
home.
Our
The
bad.
answer was making him drop below 50% health. If you don't know, when he drops below 50% health, he sacrifices another Jedi and heals himself to 100%, which apparently also resets the cooldown on Drain Life. So question number 2, Which of these abilities was completely unchanged from Malak's regular kit for the event? Gnawing Terror, Dark Transfer, Menacing Foe, or Jaws of Life?
Ooh.
I did this for 7 hours total, and I still don't know this.
This is all you, man.
I know what's happening.
It's the guests always beat us, so
Oh, I got it.
I guess that's a I also got it. I picked Gnawing Terror.
That's what I picked as well.
All right, there you go. All right, so next question, question 3 of 9. Doing which of the following makes Malak lose 3 stacks of Dark Rage? Killing a stasis field, killing a droid and killing a stasis field, killing a droid, or dying?
It's an easy one.
Yo, so that's the rub it in factor, because I have no freaking clue.
That's right. I missed the first one, so.
Yep. I got that one wrong.
I also got that wrong. The answer is killing a stasis field and killing a droid. I just said dying, so that's wrong.
I said killing a droid, and that was incorrect.
All right, next question is 4 of 9. Okay, apologies of those who are unable to do the event, wink, but we will all see Malak. Which of these actually is a good idea to use on Malak? Isolate, damage over time, expose, or critical hits?
I'm assuming this is not about the event now. This is just the character in general, right?
Correct.
No, this sounds like the character in general.
Yeah.
I can eliminate 1 of the 4, and that's it.
I was able to eliminate 3 out of the 4, which was
I got that.
All right, well, I picked Isolate, which was the correct answer. Only because that is just so different than everything else, and only one person do it, so it's harder to get that off. That was the correct answer, Isolate. Next question, 5 out of 9. You should fear Dark Infusion. It gains stacks when ... When he takes a turn, when he uses Drain Life, when he gains Taunt, or he falls below 75%, 50%, and 25% health.
Oh my god.
This is kind of tricky. I know the answer, and I did get it right, but it's kind of tricky.
I'm in Micro's corner, because I think he got it wrong like me.
I haven't even picked yet. I'm sitting here just like thinking.
Oh, man, I got it wrong. I definitely got it wrong.
All right, Micro, whenever you get your answer, just tell us. We already got ours.
I got it wrong.
You got it wrong.
He looks wounded. He is wounded.
I did the other passive, the 75, 50, 25.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was
that's
thinking.
what I chose as well.
All right, so that is interesting because what y'all selected actually resets the cooldown of the force heal or force life or whatever it is, and using that ability is actually what gives him the stacks. So in a way that is correct, but not entirely. That's why
entirely.
It's a little bit tricky.
You know what? In our old trivia format where we didn't use anything but our heads, I would have given myself a half a point there. Back when we didn't use websites for our trivia, I would have been like, that's a half a point for sure.
Very nice. Very nice.
But this website does not agree. So here we go. 6 out of 9. At 3 stacks, Dark Infusion does. Resets the cooldown timer of Drain Life to 2. 105% tenacity and health steal. 210% damage and inflicts healing immunity on basic. And 105% crit avoidance and defense.
Ooh.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, you and me on the same boat here.
Sweating. I was sweating, man.
Oh,
And it's
I got
only
that one wrong.
The only reason I got that right is because of a post you put in your Discord about his kit, where a basic shouldn't be as good as it is. But
yeah. Yeah.
it's 210% damage and buff immunity on basic. That was the answer to that one.
Oh, interesting.
7 out of 9. Question 7 out of 9. Malak supersedes heal block shock by Ferocity prevents heal block and shock on Malak. His second unique Zeta. What the fuck? No, he doesn't. Wow, I just dropped the F-bomb. His first unique Zeta.
The phrasing of the question is hard because in a way, one of his uniques does kind of help with this. But I don't know if it means that the heal block and shock is like impossible to put on him. That's where I'm getting confused. But I'm going to go with my gut. And okay, lucky.
It needs to be entirely correct or it is wrong, is generally how these things go.
Especially with a website. Now, if we were writing on
Especially
paper,
with
we
a
could... Oh, gosh. Okay, well, the F-bomb should have clued me in there. He does not do that. He does not do that. So there you go.
That is true.
All right, question 8 of 9. After passing the thresholds of 75%, 50%, and 25% health, if Malak is now back to full health, does he maintain the 35% crit avoidance, tenacity, defense / health steal?
That's a good one.
I don't effing know. Yes and nope.
Oh, no. This is just... Oh.
You're just riding the slopes. You get your climaxes and your declines.
Airplane's crashing.
Yep, I put yes. What did you pick, Wink?
No.
So you got it right.
I did. I got it correct.
I said yes, and it was wrong. Last question. All right. How many light side territory battle payouts at max stars will it take to get Malak to 7 stars from 5? Probably different if you include dark side, but this is talking about light side.
Quick muffs.
Oh, God. I'm going to open my calculator here.
Oh.
You know what? I got a phone. I'll do it there. Holy crap, I was way off.
Wow, I was way off too.
I didn't know what math I did. I picked 3.
Said 9.
Are you guys... Where are you at, Wink?
I said 12.
Oh, you got it right. I'll tell you this much. 3 was not the answer.
It was not.
It was not. No.
All right. Well, I got. All right. We'll go. We can't see the leaderboard at this point, but let me ask what you guys got. I got 4,000 out of 9,000. What about you guys?
5,000.
7,000.
Damn.
There it
1,
is.
2, 3. I got last. Very nice. Very nice. I actually am current rank 6 out of 10. So there's that.
I am second.
Nope. I hit refresh and now I'm 9 out of 10. So
I'm 5th.
very, very bad.
I didn't do too hot. I'm the most average person.
You're in the middle. I'm at the very bottom. So there's
very nice.
These get degrees. It's all good.
Hey, that's 100% true.
There you go.
All right. Well, Micro, thank you for hanging out with us this week. This was a lot of fun. We really appreciate you coming on. And of course, if you don't already know, go check out your channel. Link will be in the show notes, description, whatever you want to call it, at the bottom.
If you're going to search, and I hope this is correct, search Darth Microtransaction, and your page should show up, correct?
Correct.
There you go. So search Darth Microtransaction, and you're good to go. That is our guest for this week. Had a lot of fun, man. It was really cool to get to meet you and know you this week, man. We're gonna keep talking and hanging out. So it's really, I love meeting new awesome people in this community, and you are definitely one of them. So thanks for coming on, buddy.
I appreciate you letting me be.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Well, for everyone out there, If you have any comments, if you did not get to do the feedback poll we did this week, if you have feedback for us, go send it to theshatteredorder@gmail.com. We will take any and everything anyone has to send us there. If you want to join our Discord, discord.me/shatteredorder. If that does not work, find a friend that knows the show, because I guarantee you know someone. You do. You know someone that listens to the show. If that does not work, get them to get you an invite, and I will make sure that that invite does work at discord.me/shatteredorder this week. People say it doesn't, but I guarantee it does. I swear to God it does. Discord.me/shatteredorder. Come join us on Discord. We have an awesome community there. Really a lot of cool people, and we talk about a lot of stuff all the time. So come hang out with us there. As far as that goes, I really want to thank everyone for listening. If you don't want to hear trailer spoilers, this is where you stop listening.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the trailer here in a second. So we'll stop the podcast here. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Micro, for coming. Wink, you got anything else?
Of course.
I hope there's a later in here.
I don't, other than later.